So my podcast starts with a simple question. Where were you born?
I was born in Dyersburg, Tennessee.
Tell me more.
I was like, do you know where it is? Yeah.
I don't think I obviously we know where Tennessee is. Don't know where Dyersburg is.
Yeah.
But that's okay with a lot of, the major ones. Memphis.
Right.
Great. Everybody can call it that. Like Texas. You know Dallas and Austin and Houston for sure. San Antonio, but like everywhere in between.
Yeah. There's so many in between. Yeah.
So how big was your in between?
It was, I want to say it's like maybe 40,000 people.
So small town.
Yeah. Small-ish. It's about an hour and a half northeast of Memphis.
Okay. So not bad. You're not far away from a lot of like culture and fun and the big city.
Yes. But that was a lot of early life was in Dyersburg, Tennessee.
Okay. So how long were you in Dyersburg?
So lived there until about third grade.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we moved to Eastland, Texas.
Where's that?
It's west of the DFW, but it's called Eastland. It's by Abilene.
Okay, I've heard of Abilene.
Yeah, and it's 4,000 people.
So you went from a lot bigger to a lot smaller
yeah.
speaking.
Yeah.
What was the reason behind the move?
My dad got a job. He was like selling insurance and it wasn't fulfilling. So he went to be a youth minister and like do work for the Lord is what they said.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Was he happy with that second career choice?
I think at first they were very happy with it. And then ultimately my parents got divorced.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. Prevailing theme of America.
Right.
It happens
Yeah.
to a lot more.
It is what it is. And we ended up moving back to Dyersburg.
So at this point, is it just you, your siblings, and your mom, or
Right.
everybody?
Yeah,
Even if
Dad stayed in Eastland.
And he's still a minister there.
For a few more years. And then things got kind of weird with like he started dating people and there was someone who he was dating in the church and they were like, you can't be like bacheloring around and being a minister.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And so he was asked to leave and he did. And then he just got it. He like worked odd jobs until he started doing what he's doing now.
Which is?
He owns small market radio stations across Texas. So like a bunch of towns like the size of Eastland or bigger. He owns their local station that runs all their local ads and does their high school sports. And most of them play like oldies music or country.
How did you get into that?
He had a passion for radio his whole life. He wanted to be like an announcer for MLB.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yes. And then and so my whole life he was just doing it volunteering. Like I'd love to be the voice of the New Bern Choctaws, which was like right next to Dyersburg, or I'd love to be the voice of the Eastland Mavericks, and just kind of worked his way in and then ended up getting offered the radio station saying, hey, I think you run this well.
So
yeah.
Does he still have an actual radio persona, or is it just behind the scenes as a businessman?
He does the behind the scenes, but then he is currently the voice of the Eastland Mavericks.
Oh, no way. Cool.
Yeah. Yes. And he says that, he'd be very happy dying in the press box at Maverick Stadium. So
he found his calling twice, I guess. Minister
Yes.
and then the radio gig as an announcer. And
yes.
that's so cool.
Yeah. And then they do a morning show where they like have people call in and like do bits. And
do you ever call in?
No, I have not. It's been a long time since. Now it's a lot more like it's very community based. So if it's like you're not in the community, it's not quite, you know. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Interesting. So Dyersville is where you go back to, and you just complete high school and everything there, or do you move again?
We move again.
Tell me more.
Yeah.
And then.
So we move from back to Dyersburg, and then my mom is
Dyersburg. Sorry, I said Dyersville.
Yeah. The same difference. We move back to Eastland because my mom starts seeing a guy from Eastland. And I'm thinking that there was some crossover. But
I'm trying to figure out how out of 4,000 people, both your parents found love with someone else.
yeah, and they live on the same street now. They live about 3 miles down the street from each other.
Are they cool with each other?
They are now. But I mean, cool. They don't know each other anymore, I think, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
You know how there's like a rarity amongst couples where they get divorced, each of them is super happy for the other person to find love, and then like they just become friendly to I look at it as a very weird relationship dynamic.
Super weird. And also, yeah,
But
not
like,
the
all right,
case.
whatever.
It was very like tumultuous for a while when we all were living in Eastland again.
Okay.
Yeah. But that does exist. I dated someone who like had a good relationship with her ex-husband, and I was like, all right, whatever.
It's kind of weird though, right? As the guy, you're like, what do you mean good relationship?
Yeah.
Like there shouldn't be one at this point.
Right. Like they had kids, so it's like, I guess that's what it's for, but it's like, to me, that would be confusing. Like, I was glad there was never a question of whether or not they were getting back together. It was always like, they're divorced, and frankly, they're not the biggest fans of each other. So.
And were your step-parents cool?
Yes. Yeah. My stepdad is super cool. He's a pilot.
Nice.
Not
airline?
Not a professional pilot. That's like he's a CPA professionally.
Okay, it's his hobby. He flies for fun.
Yeah,
like
he's
Cessnas and little things like that.
Yeah, he has a Bonanza.
Okay, there you go.
And he has also a little Cessna 150 that I'm planning on going to Eastland for like 2 weeks and getting my license on.
Is it that easy?
Yeah, if you got a guy with a plane and
Okay.
yeah, who was willing to like let you use it, yeah.
You have to complete hours, right? There's like X amount of hours you need.
Yes, and there's a guy he knows who's instructor certified.
Okay.
And so it's like, it's all fine. The hardest part is like finding the plane, finding the instructor, scheduling the hours, and it's like most of that's done. So.
Got it. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Much easier to understand now.
Yeah. And
He's a pilot, but
yeah, but so he just Oshkosh is this big like fly-in festival, and he does formation flying now. It's very cool. And
what is a fly-in festival?
it's like people from all over the country fly in, and like you get, there's seminars, there's like training where you get to do formation flying, you make friends, and
this is all just like for pilots,
Yeah.
That what it?
for like recreational pilots and some professional, and then like the Blue Angels come every year. There's a big fireworks show. It's like
And this is in Texas?
this is in Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who would know?
Well,
Yeah.
a traveling comic.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
makes more
yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
To the rest of us, you're like, there's an actual place called Oshkosh?
Right. Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, that's probably where that clothing brand came from.
Yes.
Probably.
Yes. Would you know? Because you have kids. When I first brought it up to someone, they're like, "You mean the overalls?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now there's a million varieties, and I'm sure Lululemon makes one too for a ridiculous price for no reason.
Of course. Yeah. And I'm gonna buy it because I love Lululemon. No.
Up until like a few years ago, I had no idea that the Hershey Corporation is from Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Right.
I just like randomly found out, and I was like, that can't be real. And I was like, oh no, it is.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Ridiculous.
weird shit you learn, right?
Yeah.
Cheers, man.
Yes.
So, how many siblings do you have, or do you have siblings?
Yes, I have 2 blood siblings. Older sister, younger brother.
Okay.
On my mom's side, I have stepbrother who's like 1 year younger and a stepsister who's 2 years younger. Dad's side, I've got
So no blood relationships with the step siblings.
right, no
They
half.
just like
yeah,
they came with the package the same way you did.
Exactly. Yeah, and then on my dad's side, I have a stepsister who's like 4 years older, maybe.
Okay.
And then a stepbrother who's like 3 years older, and then a stepsister who's 1 year younger. So
you guys are all kind of like in this mid to late 20s, early 30s kind of realm.
Yeah, I think the youngest of us, other than my younger brother, he's like 8 years younger than me. So he's like 21.
So how did all of that kind of work out? What was like the first, hey, you're going to meet, like your step siblings?
Oddly enough, because Eastland, we already all knew each other,
shit.
right? Yeah.
That's 4,000 people. There's no way you don't know each other.
Yeah. there are 83 people in my graduating class, you know, and
crazy.
we all went to the same church. So,
And your dad was the minister.
yeah, so we just kind of like swapped around, it seemed. Which, yeah, take with that what you will, folks, you know, like,
If that ain't a country story,
yeah.
I'm sorry. But
No,
it's
you're
like,
right.
We all met at the church, and
Yeah.
then Ma and Pa became Ma and Pa.
Yeah,
You're like,
exactly.
All right, okay,
Yeah,
fair
yeah.
enough. That's like when they say it takes a village. You guys are like, well,
Yeah.
we got our own ideas. on
Yeah,
this.
it takes a village. I told that on like a first date. And then it was brought up like parent friends. And I was like, yeah, parent friends can be weird. And she's like, I bet you think that. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You have a completely different idea and perspective of that.
Yeah, for sure.
So, you go to Eastland again. How long do you guys end up staying in Eastland, or is that it? It's like
That's it.
Everybody's
Everyone's
just
in
chilling
Eastland
there.
now, other than like us who've like grown up.
The ones that have like left the flock, I guess.
Pretty much, yeah. What is it? I don't know if I should give out the precise locations of everyone, but
That is your choice
Yeah, yeah.
entirely. Your family dynamic. I mean, I don't actually need to know
Right.
if you don't want them to know.
yeah. But everyone other than my parents are all still in Eastland, but
All right.
everyone else is like kind of moved on, either deeper into smaller towns or into the city.
I would have never thought smaller towns.
Yes.
How
Yeah.
much smaller than 4,000 are you going to get?
Like 400. It's my sister lives on a ranch, so in like the middle of nowhere with
But why?
her husband. She married a guy who is a rancher, and that's what he does. He like raises animals and has horses and cows and the whole nine. It's a cute little life that they have. I love it.
They're
Yeah.
cool. Like they like it. It's
Yeah. Oh yeah. They love it. She was pregnant. She has a baby now, but I went and
Congratulations, you're an uncle.
Yes. Yeah. A couple of times.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm the only one other than my younger brother who isn't married with children.
yeah, but you're trying to pursue a career, so it's
Right,
a little
it's-
different, right?
For sure. I think so. Just different like value systems, I guess.
It makes it a lot harder to be a traveling comedian when you have a 1-year-old screaming at home.
Yeah. I would feel like impossible, but
I'm sure there's some guys that have done it because there's comedians that started later in life, but I
For
don't know if
sure.
they were technically married or not. But doesn't matter.
yeah.
I know like Tom Segura had kids before he actually became really, really big. So like there's still a lot of traveling around. and-
Right. Same with Bert Kreischer. Yeah.
Yeah,
Both of
that's
those
right.
guys.
Bert had kids way earlier.
Yeah.
'Cause his kids what?
They're graduated high school.
So
Yeah.
the older one's already in college and the young one's going like a year or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, damn, dude.
Yeah. You're a traveling salesman at that point. You're just on the road
But like,
doing your thing. yeah.
most respect to Leanne as a wife for like knowing that he, like she knew before probably he knew that he's gonna be huge.
It's going to work out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm always freaked out about like the spouse that knows before the partner knows that. Like, how did you know when you guys went on your first date that you'd pick that winner?
Yeah.
Because it's
right.
like one of those weird things that women will be like, I knew from day one, even though he was a loser and had a hole in his shoe and couldn't afford to pay for breakfast, I knew that he was going to be
I knew
huge.
he had it in him.
You're
Yeah.
like, how the fuck do you know?
yeah.
Well, how did you know?
Yeah. Well, give me your secrets because
Yeah.
I'm trying to, win Powerball and stuff. Yeah. Something.
Like, I just want to know, like, what is this sixth sense that women possess? Certain women, not, it's not a majority thing because everybody would be like, hey, look, slam dunk, look, got another one.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just like divorcing and picking new ones every few years. Yeah.
It's like, I had a Benz, now I want a Bentley.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
that
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of a
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. That's what I hope. I'm hoping someday a woman will believe in me enough for me to believe in myself, and then it'll all just start working out. But
You know the comedy world.
yeah,
It's usually a lonely road to the top.
It
It's a
is.
rarity when you get to talk about people like, Bert and Tom and Bill Burr, I believe, has been married for a long time
Yeah.
too, or Joe Rogan, certain people. But like the vast majority of comics that become huge and famous usually get married later.
right. Yeah,
Usually find love later
way later. Yeah,
because they're like super into their thing.
Like even Pete Holmes was like post the HBO show. Did he find his wife? Yeah,
I mean, yeah, like Ari Shafir. Lately, he just like what past couple of years, he's had a serious relationship. Before that, it was like not really.
yeah.
I don't know.
Good for him. Yeah.
That's the thing is when you're in the entertainment world,
Mhm.
you're also kind of like on the lookout for, is this person actually with me to be with me, or are they just their own thing and they're trying to just kind of ride my
Like coattails.
trajectory?
Yeah.
That's more of an LA thing, I think, than here, but probably here too, because entertainment is entertainment.
Yeah, I definitely experienced that lately. That the headliner had like brought his girlfriend with him as the feature, and is like
And she's no good.
she didn't quite have any business featuring, but you know it is what it is.
I mean, at a certain point, that comedian, the guy, is going to start losing his edge.
Right.
Because he's going to be following someone much, much weaker than him versus
Right.
someone stronger than him, which would make him just be on point all the time.
Yeah, that's like what Joe Rogan said. He'd always bring the best people on the road
Yeah.
because it's going to make him a better comedian. Yeah.
And I don't think it's just him. I think like Burr does that.
Yeah.
Segura does that. Kreischer does that. I'm
Yes.
sure most of the big guys nowadays want to take killers on the road with them
Yeah.
because they're like, if they're good, they're going to get the crowd really, really pumped up. And then it's just going to make me want to work that much harder to get those laughs.
To keep it going.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yes. And I always went through the philosophy of like they're creating a wave that I'm riding. You know, I don't have to like do anything. Like the idea of being a hard act to follow is like really in your head. But
some are.
true. Yeah.
Some comedians are just like, I don't know. Do you want to follow Dave Attell?
Yeah. Probably not. Yeah. Or Dave Chappelle. Any of those
Oh,
days.
God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, Louis C.K.?
Yeah.
I don't want to follow him.
No
I'm
way.
not a comedian, but I wouldn't want to. Because, like, there's a certain level that people achieve after mastery.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like beyond mastery.
Certainly. Yeah.
And you're like, how the fuck do you flow like that? How do you do this?
Yeah, I took my younger brother when he was 17 to go see Louis C.K. At the Addison Improv.
Did he bring a Bible again?
Yeah. He was like, okay. And he was like, there were times when I was laughing so hard I couldn't breathe. And then I looked at you and you looked like you were in a lecture hall. And I was like, I was there to take notes and recognize game. I was like,
Yeah, you're studying the word.
yes, yeah,
Probably because you've already heard it once or twice before.
right.
But you're just sitting there going like, wait a second. Last time he did that, there's 4 words that are not there anymore. And how the hell did he make it so much tighter? And
Yeah.
that's the study part, I'm sure, for a comedian is like, how do I get that word economy?
Right. Yes. Yeah. And then he was telling me that he was like in college and they were doing a comedy night. And he was like, just wait. This is going to be y'all have no idea how cool stand-up comedy is. Thinking that they're going to go see a Louis C.K. level show. And he was like, this was not good. It was like open mic night just for college students. And it was like,
Oh, is that?
yeah. He was like, this was not what I wanted it to be.
Well, the problem with an open mic night is the later it gets into the night, the less people are in the crowd.
Yeah.
And whoever's left is either drunk or just an asshole.
Yeah. Or comics
Or
waiting
comics.
to go up. Yeah.
And You're just like, okay, the point's kind of gone because you need the group dynamic.
Yeah.
You need a bunch of people there.
You need an audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's like the seating of even like 15 people can like where they put them can make such a huge difference of whether or not they become that unit.
Yeah, I mean,
that
if
you're
they're put them too
interacting
far
with.
apart, they're not going to click. If they're too
Yeah.
close together, they're going to argue. The wait staff is important.
Yes. It's all very like, there's like magic to it. It's very interesting.
Also, the club is very important too.
Yeah.
How it's built and all that stuff
Yes.
plays into it very much.
Yeah, there are clubs that have like really high stages because they bought a venue space that, you know, a different thing happened. Like
Right.
it was like a punk show room and you needed that space because people were moshing and you didn't want them to mosh into the rigs, you know? And now it's comedy, but it's like you can't connect. Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like you can convert a club, but you're going to have to put time and money and effort into it. You can't just
Yes.
like let's put chairs here and see how it works.
Yeah.
Probably not going to work.
Yeah.
Like a theater converted into a comedy club needs a lot of work.
So much work. Yeah.
Because theaters usually have larger ceilings. Now you're going to need to lower that shit. And
Yeah.
good luck.
That's like on every Chappelle special, it looks like he has his own stage brought in that's like a little bit lower, and then they seat around him.
So
It's very cool.
So from what I've heard is when they do the arenas,
Mm-hmm.
they take their own stage. So like when
Really?
they're doing an arena, have you ever seen who was it? I think it was Bert was showing his like fleet that goes on the road when they're doing their tour, and he's like 18-wheeler after 18-wheeler. Well, that's all like stage equipment and speakers and all this other stuff. So they take it with them.
Yeah.
So it looks the same everywhere they go, because an arena is technically just a place where anything can kind of happen. Sports, and they're kind of multi-use facilities.
Right.
So they just like flatten it out and they're like, all right, build it.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. I've definitely seen like a documentary about the Taylor Swift's like what they do, because it's like insane how much they build an entire city. Yeah, overnight. Yeah.
I couldn't imagine the size of her team. Because,
Yeah.
you know, a comedian, you need good speakers, you need the stage, but that's kind of where it ends.
Right.
You know, as long as the moron doing the spotlight is good at his job, then you're fine. You know,
Yeah.
you're good. But when you're talking about like an actual musician like Taylor Swift, where you've got so much
light cues, pyrotechnics, like
Can you imagine the crew of people that has to travel with her to set up, take down every city? Like they do this night.
it's like 100 people probably more, and they hire locals too to come on and help build. It's crazy. Yeah.
It's staggering when you understand how much money goes into the amount of money she makes, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, yeah. It's, you know, the margins aren't as big as maybe you think they are.
Plus, it's like one person feeding hundreds of people.
I mean,
by her talent.
Yeah. And
you can't deny it.
then if you think about like everyone who's going out before,
Oh, yeah.
the hotel rooms that are booked, and like it's the entire economy of the town is like surged because she showed up.
Yeah, like if she's...
It's crazy.
If she's going to be doing, let's say, what's the arena in Dallas? What is it called?
The one she would do is she'd probably do Cowboy Stadium.
So
I
Cowboy
think,
Stadium.
Yeah,
So let's say she's doing Cowboy Stadium.
yeah.
Can you imagine all the hotels that are going to be selling out? Because not everybody lives in Dallas. I mean, tons of people are going to be coming all over
From
Texas.
Eastland, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
all
yeah.
4,000.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing. You think about it, you're like, oh yeah, so much of commerce is connected to entertainment.
Yeah. And that's why this might be a hot take, but whenever people are like, why didn't anyone say anything about Michael Jackson? I was like, because everyone makes money.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, and it's not just everyone in his team. It's
everyone.
The
makes
world,
money.
yeah, is making money because this guy can sing, yeah, and dance.
Yeah, and you've got like international rights and distribution.
Yeah.
And, like Michael was all about the CDs and cassettes before that. Like he came up in that era.
Yes, yeah.
Where the money was made with the sales of a physical product.
Yeah, not just the concept of being famous, but yeah.
It's not an NFT, it's actual talent.
Yeah. That's funny, yeah.
What happened to NFTs?
Oh, I knew they were going to be nothing pretty early. I was like, I can screenshot that.
I was just wondering, like,
yeah.
what happened to the $500,000-$700,000 ape?
Oh yeah, whoever bought them made a poor investment. That's what happened to them. They lost everything, and their wife divorced them. And
I loved how people were really trying to sell the idea that you actually own something when you own an NFT, and I was like, "What do you mean? It's a JPEG."
Yeah.
But they're like, "But it's yours." I'm like, "No, it's the internet's. Everybody, who gives a shit that I own a random code that says it's mine?" You know, there's a huge difference between a Gustav Klimt in my living room versus
Yeah.
an image,
A screenshot
that
of
is
one.
that I'm like, hey, look, I own this $500,000 art.
Yeah. My favorite thing was on Twitter.
What
People would have it as their profile picture.
Oh yeah.
And then people would screenshot it and make it their profile picture. And they're like, I'm going to sue you. You just wait. And it's like,
You can't
yeah.
because you put it on Twitter, public domain, it's done. yes, you still own the rights to it,
Sure.
but that person's not making any money off of it.
Yeah.
So they're not doing shit with it.
It's a diluted property. Yeah.
It was the dumbest fucking thing ever.
It was so dumb. The whole, yeah. It was
Which
like,
I'm not going to say I didn't buy one just to see if I
Hilarious.
Like,
Yeah.
What happens
Yeah.
if you strike a gold? Like, what,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, I'll buy the one that Snoop Dogg really wants, and then he'll buy it from me, hopefully. Yeah.
Remember at that same time people were trying to sell VR property?
Yes.
The Sandlot.
Yeah.
Because you said Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
He bought like this, or we probably gifted to him to kind of promote that shit. But like people were putting real money into like, oh, I'm going to be next door to Snoop Dogg in the virtual world. You're like, cool.
Yeah.
When is that going to be worth a damn?
Yeah. Call me whenever I don't have to have it plugged into a tower computer.
You don't have to. You can use
Yeah.
an Oculus, but like
Oh, yeah.
nobody uses them.
Mm-mm.
I have it. But I'm a tech person. I
Yeah.
like tech. It's fun. But that's like VR is like the bleeding edge, dude.
Yeah. You're so forward. I'm very excited about the Apple.
Their augmented reality.
Yeah.
But see, Apple's doing it right. They're like, it's meant to be expensive because we're going to go after commercial use first
Yeah.
and see if there's any adoption in the business world.
Yeah. Which
Which is always the same thing. It's like the trickle-down effect. If
Mm-hmm.
a very large cohort of business adopts it and turns it into like what is the desktop computer now,
yeah.
then it's like, okay, cool, we have an actual business for this.
Yeah. Which like editing video on like 3 huge monitors
It
sounds
looks
awesome.
interesting.
Yeah. But
I think
Yeah.
the real use case scenario might be companies that have multiple international offices being able to pop those on in an executive
mm-hmm.
meeting room, and now you can get like all your execs around the world to actually be in a room virtually,
Right.
and
yeah.
someone can present whatever the presentation is for Q1, and everybody can put their real-time input.
Right.
Which
yeah.
Zoom doesn't really allow that because you still have that humongous separation of we're not really in the same room.
Yeah.
We're all in front of a screen. And
I agree. Yeah.
I think that's going to be the cool application of it, where if that actually does work out and there's a business use for it, in 5 years you'll probably be able to get one for like $300 or $400 that
Mm-hmm.
looks like a pair of Ray-Bans.
Right. Yeah. And you'll be able to do the, live meetings and stuff with it.
Yeah, and I'm sure it'll go well beyond that.
Yeah.
Apple also has the ability of just like being like, hey, look, we're going to pretend like we were the first to do this, and
Yeah.
everybody's going to be like, oh my God.
We're going to give it a new
so
name.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it is gorgeous.
Yeah.
It looks much better than anything else that's on the market.
For sure.
Did you see that movie Ready Player One?
Oh, yeah. For sure.
When we get there,
yeah.
I'll buy land in VR.
I'm in.
I'll
Yeah,
buy
yeah.
land in VR.
Yeah, because all the land in the real world will be taken by, landfills. Yeah.
But until that dystopian reality, I'm good.
Yeah.
I live in Texas, dude. We got a lot of land.
There's so much land. Yeah.
So many 400-person towns that
Yeah.
can become 4 million-person towns.
So fast.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Second largest state by landmass.
Wow. Yeah.
Alaska's the
yeah,
only one bigger.
yeah. But who wants to live there?
Well, the problem is you
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
A lot of Alaska is so cold and frozen that you can't really live there.
Yeah.
They have like remote outposts, but that's about it.
Right. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Although I'd love to like visit and kind of live in Alaska for a few months.
Right. I went on like an Alaskan cruise last year. And
Did you?
It was dope. Yeah. It was so pretty.
When did you
But
go? Like what
in
month was it?
Late October, early
Did you
November.
get to see the Northern Lights or the Aurora Borealis, or
I
was
did
it not
not.
the right time?
It wasn't the right time. Like we couldn't get all the way up there because it was already like too winter.
Got it.
You
So
know, they
you
were
already
like,
limited because the ice was forming in places.
yes. And then I like went on an excursion, and to go see like puppies like that are trained to mush. And I was like,
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
I'll spend the afternoon. I went with my great aunt and parents, and they were like, you're tapping in watching the great aunt. She's like got dementia and stuff, but they still want to take her around.
Okay.
And she's like, they were like, you're coming as like, so we get a day off of, entertaining. And I was like, yeah, sounds good. So I went alone to this like puppy place, and I was like, yeah, it sounds like a great time. I'm going to go hang out with dogs. And
I mean,
they
if
were
you
all
like dogs,
gone.
If you like dogs, it's like heaven.
Right. Yeah.
You get a bunch of
good
husky
dog.
puppies
Yeah.
in their natural habitat.
Yeah, my
just
Instagram's going to be
playing.
fire, dude.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
going to be, yeah. And then they were gone. There were no puppies to be had because they're like, they had to, come get them and fly them to like a place where they can live for the rest of the winter. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy too. Like some of these dogs really are bred for that because they will live in areas where there are no roads and you got sleds.
Yeah.
And these are how people live and survive. They're like, I'm just gonna sled dog 48 miles
Down
across
to
the frozen river.
yeah.
And you're like, okay, I'm just gonna Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're both Americans, but,
Yeah.
but you have a very different America.
Yeah. It's so different. Yeah. And boy, do I love Uber Eats. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Have you heard of Chipotle?
Yeah,
And they're
it's
like, what is that?
yeah. Oh, it's really good. Yeah.
But if you ask those people, they're like, no, there's no better food than what I just caught in my backyard. And
Right. The salmon that they have that's fresh and
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
and everything else.
Yeah.
Just like I think they have caribou and they have elk
Yes,
and
yeah.
moose,
Yeah.
bear sometimes.
That'd be nuts. Yeah.
They eat everything.
I had a teacher tell me that he like lived in Alaska for a while and he went to the bar. There's a bar that you can walk to. And it was his first day there and gets out, takes all his like stuff off and wipes his face. And everyone was like, "Ooh," because he broke all the hair off of his face when he did that. Like his eyelashes, his eyebrows, his beard gone
Because it was frozen.
because it was frozen. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And he was like, "Yeah, now I look crazy for the next year." And just, yeah. You're not allowed to touch your face when you're in the Alaska cold.
All right. Well, that's something nice to know. I had
Yeah,
no
yeah,
idea.
yeah,
This-
yeah.
I would never have thought about that.
Yeah, your shit will completely break off. It'll be awful. Yeah.
You just got to go inside and let it thaw out, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
you gotta wait.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, who would have thought?
Yeah. It's like, no beard, that's fine. No eyebrows, that's a rough look. No eyelashes. Now you're.
And now it looks like you kind of shaved it all off or a burning accident happened.
Yeah.
Completely gone. It's
Yeah.
just like this weird stubbly shit everywhere.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you're
Yeah.
like, I got attacked. I just don't know by what.
Yeah. I got attacked by the cold.
Which is completely possible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You get attacked. How long have you been in Texas?
About a year.
Okay,
in
yeah.
July it was a year. Like
So you
20
experience
something.
the cold in Texas can get ridiculous. I'm like,
I enjoyed it.
yeah.
It was fun
different from the heat. Yeah.
because nobody was out,
Right.
and I was like, okay, cool. I can drive on the road. It's frozen, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Can't go above 20, but it's
Yeah.
still fun to
It's
drive.
not a big deal.
It's
Yeah.
like there's
yeah.
nobody out.
Yeah.
And then when I realized that, like, oh shit, the USPS is actually closed and everything is shut down. You're like, okay, I guess there's a reason why nobody's on the road.
Yeah. I guess I'll just go home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have no
Yeah,
choice.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
nothing you can do.
Yeah.
You're just like sitting there going like, all right.
Yeah, I was lucky. Like, there's a bar I can walk to, and the guy showed up and opened it up and was like cooking sandwiches and stuff. And like, cause I'm, a single dude, and there's nothing in my fridge, and I was like, man, I'm hungry, and I'm not. I cleaned out the Cliff Bars, and
Got it.
yeah,
So you live here in DFW now?
yeah. I live in like the Colony, which is like
I know where that is.
yeah.
Louisville,
Suburb area, but
Castle
I'm,
Hills, all that area.
yes, yeah. I'm trying to get closer. Lease is up in September, so
Okay.
yeah.
So comedy paying the bills?
Not quite. So I do a little like freelance copywriting on the side.
What does that actually mean?
That means I'm a Nepo baby and I work for my dad's radio stations and write the copy for their ads. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then but I'm about to start doing like some social media coordinator stuff.
And what does that mean?
That means making content and
For others or for yourself?
for others. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have my own content plan, and it's just gonna take like the rest of the year to finish writing, and then half of next year to produce, and then put it out, and then move on to the next project.
And what is it going to be? Like a YouTube series? A
Yeah,
podcast series? What are you thinking of doing?
It's a web series.
Okay.
That's like kind of in vein of podcasts, but yeah, yeah. I don't want to go too into it.
That's
because-
fine.
Yeah,
It's a project you're working on. You'd
Yeah.
rather have the suspense build up the way you want it. So I'll
for
leave
sure.
it at that.
Yeah, I appreciate
I
it.
can't wait to see it though. It
Yeah,
seems
yeah.
interesting.
Yes, yeah.
It better be funny.
Yeah,
That's all I'm gonna say.
Yes,
It better be funny.
I hope it is. Yeah, yeah.
Because you're kind of like attacking the largest media right now.
Yeah.
Podcasts have become kind of like source number, I would say 2
Yeah.
of where we consume content. Source number 1 is still like Reels and TikToks and
Right.
shit. I think that takes up more attention from people than any other platform or medium.
80% of my Reels or TikTok is podcast clips.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's kind of a play on podcast clips.
Okay.
And so, yeah. But it's not necessarily making fun of it. It's just like using that as the engine of like a story. So,
Just leave it.
Okay.
Now it's more interesting. And
Yeah.
let's just see when it comes out.
Okay, deal. Yeah.
And you got a cool Canon camera, so the production value is going to be high.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Are you going to be editing it yourself?
Me, and then I have a friend who's really good at editing, and I'm going to try to convince him to help me.
Okay.
If I can't save up to like pay him to help me, I'm sure he'd be cool to sit in on a few sessions and like figure out the formula.
Give him a piece of the pie.
Yeah.
Be like,
Yeah,
hey,
if there's any money
it's
made,
a startup, buddy. You know,
come at it.
You put your time.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
if
yeah.
there's any money, you get a piece of it.
That's the plan. Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, and that's also how I'm going to try to convince actors to be in it. But enough.
I mean, no, you can keep talking as much as you want, obviously, but
I'll go on and on.
it seems
but
very intriguing.
Yeah.
All right, let's change the pace. So you're not going to tell your whole
idea.
idea.
I'm not giving you the full elevator pitch, and yeah.
Everybody does that. They're like, I don't want to talk about it, but here's the basis
But
of
let
the
me go ahead
foundation. And then
what do you
15
think?
minutes later, they're like, please don't steal my idea. You're like,
Yeah.
I won't, but the internet has it. now."
Yeah.
So what made you pursue comedy?
Man, oddly enough, do you know the movie Funny People?
I do not.
Oh, whoa.
Should
yeah.
I?
Yeah. It's okay. I wouldn't say it's a great movie, but it definitely gave me a look into stand-up that I had not known prior.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a Judd Apatow directed movie, so it's nice and long.
Judd is kind of hit and miss sometimes for me. Certain things he does is just, they're classics you can watch over and over again.
Yeah.
I won't name any because no matter what you say, someone has that in their head as the classic.
Right.
But whatever you don't like, someone else is going to be like, no, you're so wrong.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I mean?
the right one. Yeah.
There's no right and wrong about a Judd Apatow movie. It just, he hits different people with different styles of comedy. Cool.
Personally, I'm a Heavyweights guy. If you remember that movie. But yeah, with Ben Stiller. Yeah.
Very funny movie.
Yeah.
Very good movie. No, he's had some really funny shit. Like 40-Year-Old Virgin is him, isn't it? I don't want to say it isn't, but if it is, that's like it's a classic. It's
for sure.
It's one of those forever movies.
Yeah. But it's starring Adam Sandler and what is it? Seth Rogen.
Okay.
And Jonah Hill's in it.
So 3 heavyweights.
Yeah, and
comedic actor heavyweights.
Right, and Ben Schwartz is in it.
Okay.
And it's about like this stand-up comedian who's like done all the movies and like kind of graduated out of stand-up into the upper echelons of show business, coming back to stand-up and like hiring an up-and-comer as his writer as he's like dealing with a terminal illness.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's super interesting, but I never knew that people sat at coffee shops and wrote jokes. I just thought, this is like I'm 15,
right.
And like thinking what I had no idea that was the process. I thought people were just going on stage and winging it and being hilarious.
I think because when you see some of the greats do it, you don't actually see premise, setup, punchline, tag, callback. None of that is actually occurring because they're just telling you a story.
Right. Yeah.
And the best of them within the situation that they happen to be in will adjust said story to make it relevant to that crowd. And that's why you're sitting there going like, wait, what? I know I'm dying laughing here, but what was it? Like,
right. Yeah.
It's like a magic show.
Yes. So I started doing magic in the 5th grade. And I think that's what like compelled me to the stage, There
always is something, right?
Yeah.
Comedy wasn't the first thing. There's always something else that makes you not be you can be an introvert but still be an amazing comedian, but like being okay with the stage presence.
Yes. Yeah. And so I was like, by the time I was in 7th grade, I was like getting booked to do like parties, lots of church events.
So you're a clean comedian at this point.
Yeah, and a magician.
Oh,
A clean magician.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so.
And this is Eastland.
Yes. Yeah. And
so you're the talk of the town.
Kinda. Yeah. People knew me as a magician.
Wait.
For sure.
What was your name? What was your stage name?
Oh, just the Amazing Parker. Completely ripped off I think is the Amazing Jonathan.
There's been a bunch of the Amazing.
Yeah.
You can put whatever name you want. I'm
Right,
sure
and that
the Amazing
that
Steve
exists.
or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. The Amazing Steve. I love the Amazing Steve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure it exists.
Yeah. And
so you're doing church events, birthday parties, baptisms, bar
yeah,
mitzvahs, whatever. The whole shebang.
big baptism guy. They really believed it with that extra,
Yeah, it's like, is this your card?
Yeah. Are these your sins?
Yeah,
And so I kind of had I was still doing it pretty much in high school, and I was also doing football and stuff, and I had torn my hamstring. We go to the doctor, and they notice what appears to be a lytic lesion on my hip bone, which is it was a cancer scare. I don't claim to have had cancer because I didn't go through chemo or any of that stuff, but it was enough to put me on you're not allowed to do sports for a while, and we're going to get MRIs done, we're going to do all this stuff to make sure that what we think is true, that you're good.
Okay.
And so I'm 16 years old, and we end up driving all the way to Fort Worth to Cook's Children's Hospital to get the final run of tests done.
Yeah, they got all the equipment needed to make sure you're okay.
For sure.
Right.
And what is it? Oddly enough, my sister had an ovarian tumor that was cancerous when she was in the 5th grade. And so my mom was hyper vigilant about it, and we go to Cook's Children's Hospital, and everything's okay. We get the thumbs up that we're good.
They're in the clear.
Yes.
Wonderful.
And so my mom is very relieved. And they kind of kept me in the dark the whole time. They were he's 16. He doesn't need to know that things are stressful for us, was kind of their philosophy. And
good parents.
Yeah, I think so.
That's wonderful parents.
Yes.
Trying to take the burden off of your shoulders is exactly what a parent
Go be
does. 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, before it gets to a point where we have to tell Parker, hey, dude, you're going to lose your hair because we got to go through this.
Yeah.
Whatever. If none of that has to exist, how about mom and dad get the white hair and age about 15 to 20 years like a good cheese in the next 2 years?
Yeah. In the next couple of months. Yeah.
When you become a parent, you can very, very quickly understand what that feeling is like.
Yeah.
Because your kids have, anybody who has kids has had a kid that's had, the flu or pink eye or something. And you're you see your baby not happy because even something as simple as a fever, it's stressful for a parent.
Right, yeah.
You can only imagine what that couple of months could have felt like.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that it was very scary. Yeah.
Good parents.
Let's
leave it at that. Good parents.
That's not even the beginning of the good parents to me, because that day my mom was so happy. She was like, what do you want to go do? We'll go to Six Flags. We'll go, and I was like, well, there's an open mic at Hyena's Comedy Nightclub on Wednesdays in Dallas.
Oh, Dallas. Okay.
Yeah. And so, and her first thought was well, I'm not telling him no. They'll tell him no because he's 16. They're not going to let him in. I'll look like the hero who tried to usher him to his dreams, and, will reluctantly go get food, go get a steak somewhere.
What your mom didn't know is Chappelle broke that fucking rule 30 years before, and then every comedy club is maybe there's a possibility if there's a mom or dad around.
Yeah, yes. And that's exactly what happened.
Because everybody wants to be the club that discovered the next Dave Chappelle.
Yes.
And he does exist, or she does exist. It's just she hasn't gotten on the stage yet.
Yeah.
Let's see who it's that person.
It could be you. Yeah.
Yeah. And, so as a club owner, it's kind of like the guy at the gas station that sells the lotto ticket. They get a percentage.
Right. Yeah. You want them to win. Yeah.
Because Chappelle will always talk about the first club he went up on stage. Always.
For sure. Yeah. For the rest of his career.
Hell yeah.
And so she did make me go ask. She was like, I'm not asking for you. Like, we got in the door, and then she was like, you got to go. Like, we've figured out who's the person you go sign up with. And she was like, you got to go ask him. I'm not, it's on you. And so I go up and ask him, and he was like, is that your mom? And I was like, yes. And he was like, all right, you can go up tonight, but when we'll see. And it went well.
How much time were you given?
I think 4 minutes.
And did you have material prepped already?
Yes.
So tell me about that. How did that, because when did that happen? Like, when did the material actually materialize?
After watching Funny People and learning people sat with a legal notepad and wrote jokes, I was like, all right, that's what I'm going to do.
You sat down and actually tried to write jokes?
Yes. And earlier I got like gifted an iTunes gift card like the same year that I watched Funny People, and I spent it on Comedy Central Presents Best of Volume 2.
Yeah, that's when Comedy Central was awesome.
Yes, and so it was like Nick Swartzen, Daniel Tosh, Dave Attell, just these killers that really shaped who I am as a comedian. And
makes a lot more sense. Your set the other day.
Yes, yeah. it does. I know. Yeah, and
there's so much of what you just said. Like, I can see how he was inspired.
Kyle
definitely
Cease.
has his own voice.
Yes.
Yeah. You're not imitating anybody, but I can be like, you can tell comedians sometimes where their not inspiration, but the reason they kind of went into comedy was like that first comedian that it almost always shapes the kind of comedy, because they're like, oh shit, somebody's doing it and they're good at it. I can be that way.
Yeah. Daniel Tosh was my guy that I was like, whoa, this guy's doing something I've never seen before. And I
would say Daniel Tosh has been one of those comedians that's like an acquired taste.
Yes.
The general population may not understand it, but for those of us that understand where it's coming from, you're like, this guy's genius.
Yes. Yeah.
This guy's so good.
Yeah. He had the cargo pants bit. I don't know if you know it, but
I remember it.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my, the genius. Yeah. And so I had written jokes about like, why is the Kung Fu Panda video game so hard? but Call of Duty is so, like, this is an impossible video game.
That is the funniest shit in the world I can imagine.
Yeah, just a 16-year-old.
Like, fuck Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah. It's like, I worked so hard to beat that game, but I never did. But I'll beat Call of Duty, in no time at all.
They always fuck up video game adaptations of movies.
Yeah, they don't
always bad.
Yeah, they don't put enough effort into the game aspect of
it.
Yeah,
just like, we're gonna ride this wave that is Batman, and they're like, here, crappy ass Batman.
Yeah.
Remember do you remember the debacle of the E.T. game with that? So this is like a long ass time.
Okay.
This is Atari.
Whoa, yeah.
So when E.T. is coming out, the Atari is a big deal, and I forget which game studio it was at the time, but they are rushing to get the E.T. game out to be in line with the film, but they completely screw this up.
Yes.
So like it's so bad that all the stores send it back because nobody's buying it. And then they end up just throwing it in a landfill. It's like the biggest disaster flop ever.
Wow.
Yeah. There's like actual archival footage of the landfills full of these ET cartridges. Because they were
crazy.
Like stupid cartridges back then.
Yeah.
There's so many weird and funny stories like that.
They still do that. Yeah. Like anytime a movie's coming out, they've gotten better. Like they've kind of learned from that mistake. Like I love the Spider-Man games on the PS5.
Haven't played them.
Okay. Yeah.
But I will say that as the inner kid that loved Super Mario, I really liked the Super Mario movie.
I haven't seen it yet.
I took my kids, my older ones. They loved it. We had a blast. I enjoyed it. There's like a whole lot of nostalgia for you.
Of course, yeah.
And Jack Black as Bowser singing that song.
Brilliant. Yeah.
I literally actually have that song in Spotify. It
That's
goes
amazing.
In on one of my,
Yeah.
Because it's so good. It's so fucking funny.
It's so
and
funny.
Good.
Yeah. My like pre-show playlist is all silly songs from my childhood.
Well,
so
there you go.
yeah. The Pirates Who Don't Do Anything by Reliant K is so good, and I listen to it almost before every show.
See, you got your hype music.
Yeah. Yes.
And it was. I also like the fact that I was like, it was so out of left field that Bowser is in love with Peach.
Right.
You're just like, wait, I thought he was trying to enslave her.
Yeah.
Marry her.
But it makes sense.
And it
that,
was just
yeah,
so
yeah.
much funnier that way. You're just like, oh my god, he's not evil. He's just a moron in love.
Yeah, yeah. That's,
It just made it so much sillier.
he's a more empathetic character that
Yeah.
way. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like I can almost understand.
Yeah, I get it.
I
Yeah.
feel so bad for him.
Yeah. My ex, I want to enslave. I mean,
But then
Yeah.
they do like movies like The Last Airbender and completely fuck up an entire like series of really good,
Yeah.
what was books and then became anime and then
Yes.
comic series and like all this other. It had this whole history,
yeah.
and then they were just like, but we can direct it to the ground.
Yeah, yeah, right to the ground. I never finished that movie.
I never started it.
Yeah,
because
wow, good for
when
you.
I saw the
Yeah.
Rotten Tomato reviews on it, I was
Yeah,
like, it can't be that bad. And then you just like, you look at the audience score and people are just like crying, like, you ruined my childhood. I
Yeah.
hate you people. How could you screw it up so bad?
because the show was great, and Netflix is like acquired the IP and is like kind of doing a thing where they're gonna do a live action, and
Are they?
Yes, we're all very skeptically,
not excited.
optimistic. Yeah,
I'm kind of over the whole live action bullshit.
they've done it too much.
Can't they do something else?
Yeah,
Can't we do anything else?
like something new.
yeah.
yeah.
What happened? Did we stop?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It feels like it, it feels like if like a studio won't invest in a property that isn't already proven, and
Yeah.
it's like they're trying to make a safe bet, and it's like that's not what entertainment's about. It's about risky bets.
This is why Marvel is pre-green lit into like Phase 17 or some shit.
Yeah.
They're like, in 2072, we're going to be coming out with Avengers The Convalescent Home.
Yeah,
Whatever. like,
which I'm excited for.
yeah, if
but
I'm
yeah,
around,
yeah,
I have
yeah,
no
yeah,
idea
yeah.
what the hell, 27, I'm gonna be above 100 years old. At that
Yeah,
point.
yeah,
You too.
yeah, yeah.
So, like-
we'll make it. Yeah, yeah.
He's like, well, I'll be here. I'll,
Yeah,
be, on,
yeah, yeah.
I'll be at Hyenas.
yeah, yeah. I'll still be there, emceeing and
No,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
you'd be
yeah.
headlining at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah,
You'd be like
yeah.
selling out and shit.
Yeah.
Be like, on his 100th birthday,
Yeah,
Parker.
yeah. That'd be so funny.
That would be. Wouldn't that be fucking hilarious? though?
Yeah.
Like, if medicine got to the point where at 100 you look like this, and
Still.
you're like, yeah, I'm good, bro.
Yeah,
good."
I'm still, doing my
They
shtick.
stopped all
Yeah, yeah,
my
yeah.
cells from getting older, and I'm just 29 forever.
Yeah, what a dream, I think. Or nightmare. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Like, what happens if you stop too late?
right.
Like, you're perpetually 49 with a back problem.
Forever.
That's it. And they have no way of reversing
My
it.
sciatica is acting up again.
They're
Yeah.
like, I can't die, and I have to deal with this all
Yeah,
day.
yeah. That would be awful. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
they got pain medicine.
Yeah, that
Certainly by the time they've got pause cell aging technology, they've got fix your back issue.
Can you imagine if like they didn't and Norco was still the answer? They're like, you're just gonna be on Oxy forever.
Yeah.
It can't kill you anymore.
Yeah.
Because nothing can.
But
But
Yeah.
it's about
You gotta pop
$400,000 a pill now.
yeah. That's
we
how they'll get
privatize
you.
it.
That's how they'll get you. Yeah.
Remember that dude that became the CEO of that company and jacked up like an AIDS medication?
Yes.
He would probably be the CEO of all pharmaceuticals at that point.
Right. Yeah.
Like, oh,
They're
Tylenol, that's $44,000,
yeah.
sir.
Sorry. Yeah. It's business. It's business.
Yeah.
It's not my.
My hands
yeah.
are tied. Investors, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're just sitting there going like, what the fuck you mean you know?
I don't. Yeah.
You're like, I have no idea.
Yeah. I'm spending 40,000. I'm an investor.
I'm stuck at a 49-year-old
Yeah.
with a back problem.
Yeah.
And you're like, sorry, bro.
Yeah. It's called. Yeah. Yeah. Ridiculous.
Somebody should turn that into like a TV series.
Right.
Like you get Utopia adjacent.
Right. Yeah.
Remember,
Yeah.
like if you could think of all the shit that, human beings could dream of, immortality, everybody loves each other, no more, killing, things like that.
Yeah.
What if you did like a Utopia adjacent? Like everybody has love, but now everybody is in love with everyone else.
Right. Yeah.
So nobody actually has love.
Yes. Yeah.
So you kind of got misery because of what you want. I would love that as a series.
That would be amazing. Yeah. It'd be. Have you seen The Boys? It's on Amazon Prime.
Is that like a superhero thing?
Yes.
I haven't gotten to it yet. I know what you're talking
It's
about.
really
I haven't
good.
gotten to it yet.
And it's like the reality of superheroes in like a capitalist society and how they'd be, marketed and how they'd be like celebrities who do like kind of fucked up stuff sometimes. And you know, but they get away with it because they laser you to death if you said anything about it. It's great.
Strangely sounds like our politicians today.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, there's a lot
Just
of
a tad
parallels.
bit.
A lot of parallels.
By the way, did they ever figure out how that crack got into the White House?
I don't know.
I
I had no idea there was crack in the White House. I mean, I assume.
Yeah, they found crack in the White House.
Wow. You know,
It's interesting.
I doubt it's the first time there's been crack in the White House. It's just the first time it got found.
No, it's not there's probably a consistent flow of that shit in the
yeah,
White House.
yeah.
It's just they announced it because it wasn't their flow.
They were like,
it was
"Wait
an
a minute."
off-brand. They were like,
This isn't our crack.
this isn't, yeah. Where's the blue sticker that comes on our crack?
Yeah. Dole didn't produce this crack. Yeah.
We go into DEFCON 4 because they have different crack in the White House.
Yeah.
See, utopia adjacent.
Utopia adjacent. Yeah.
We get the perfect democracy, but they're all fucked up on crack.
Right. Well, that's how you get anything done, you know?
Somebody's got to make this
Yeah. Everybody's on Adderall, so it's crack adjacent.
And if you got the money, you're on Vyvanse.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I hear that
Or the insurance.
yeah, I was about to say, I hear the dupe is coming out soon. So, yeah.
The good shit.
Yeah. The Walmart brand of Vyvanse.
I'm kind of waiting for when they end up putting an implant in everybody's head that has just this steady drip of I don't give a fuck. And just humanity continues.
Yeah.
Down
I think we're talking about Xanax.
No, Xanax is like too much I don't give a fuck.
It's a little bit too much. It's like,
We need to get I don't give a fuck but still want to be creative.
yes.
Because
Yeah.
you need to keep the sheep occupied, entertained.
Right. Yeah.
We need another season of Westworld so nobody could understand that shit.
Yes. Yeah.
I hated that show so much. It was so fucking confusing.
I
Even
only
the horse
watched-
had a side story.
That's
I was like, "What, really,
hilarious."
dude? Seriously? Stallion had to have its own miniseries?
Yeah.
And
I dropped out. I was like season 2 halfway through. I was like, y'all
didn't
lost
even-
me, man. Yeah.
I didn't even make it to halfway of season 2 because I was like, I don't recognize half the people here except for that one dude.
Yeah.
And even he is different for some reason. And fuck this.
Yeah. I can't do it.
I can
Yeah.
follow The Sopranos. Game of Thrones is fine.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
it doesn't matter who you like, they're going to die anyways.
That's sad.
That was
Yeah,
like the
it's-
overall. That was the prevailing theme of that show. It was like,
Yeah.
don't get attached.
Yeah. Oh, that guy you really like? Wait till the end of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the second episode where they just kill the king and they're like, welcome to the show.
Yeah. Yes.
He was supposed to be the main protagonist.
Yeah.
Nope.
Not anymore.
Nah.
Yeah. That was a nuts show. I was having stress dreams about that show when it was coming out. It was
I
so
love
bad.
that
Yeah,
show.
yeah. The Red Viper of Dorne was like my favorite character, and I was like, he's the one. And then I had a dream that he, spoiler alert. It's
Really?
yeah.
8 years after it ended or something?
Right, yeah. People still get mad.
Didn't it end pre-pandemic?
Yeah. If you haven't caught up, you had a good minute to
You know how
catch
they
up
had-
on everything.
You know how they had AD-BC? Now we have AD-PP.
Pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Or
Post-pandemic.
post-pandemic
Yeah.
and the AD. Like, did it happen before or after the event?
Yes. Wow, that's so true. Yeah.
Because if you think about it, it's still permeating. Like, people are really thinking about it. Like, I hear people say that shit. Like, yeah, pre-pandemic, we went to Disneyland. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was
You're
great.
like,
yeah.
"Oof, are we using this normal now?
Yeah, I went post-pandemic, post-mask mandate being dropped, and I loved it. It was great.
I went during pandemic, took my kids.
Oh,
and
nice.
fucking had an amazing time.
That's
because
amazing,
It
yeah.
was Wednesday
And no one was there.
and no one was there. Like, Space Mountain, which is usually like a 6.5 hour line 2 weeks before,
Yeah.
15 minutes, maybe.
That's nuts.
Yeah, there was like no point in even getting a fast pass because there was nobody there. Because everybody's like freaked the fuck out.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
Especially there. Yeah.
I was like, wait, I'm outdoors. There's no reported case of kids getting sick, and literally nobody's fucking. Let's go to Disneyland.
Yeah.
You're
Fuck
like,
it,
awesome.
yeah.
It was September too.
Yeah.
Like
How-
middle of the summer.
How
no
great.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Did you get to ride Rise of the Resistance? The Star Wars ride?
I don't remember that one, but again, it was like for the kids. So
Right,
a lot of
right.
it was like if there's a height restriction or something, probably didn't get a
Yeah.
chance to do that one. Not sure though.
I highly suggest going back and doing it.
Oh, we're gonna go. Yeah.
An immersive experience. It's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Disney World. Have you?
I have, oddly enough, during my magic days. We had a family friend who he and his wife and he had like sons who were graduated high school that like my parents were friends with, but he was a magician on the boardwalk at Disney World Epcot Center.
There was a boardwalk.
Oh.
I've never been, so I have no
Oh
idea.
yeah. They've got like Epcot is like they have like you can drink around the world and they have like all this stuff, and he would like ride out on his big tricycle with trunks and do a magic show.
Wow, cool.
And like it's kind of like a street magic show. Like a crowd would form, and it was super cool.
But he was a Disney employee?
Yes.
Okay.
And like I went and stayed with him for a week and did like shows with him all week, and he took me to like magic shops and showed me like there's like catacombs of Disney World.
Okay.
Yeah, where like the characters, go, through things and get from one place to the next without being seen.
You remember Beverly Hills Cop, Eddie Murphy?
It's been a long time, but I watched it in like middle school. Yeah.
So remember, I think it was in the second one.
Yeah.
Where they have like a theme park related whole. Remember the whole movie's kind of centered around that.
Yes.
The dude and the theme park and them putting the money there. And remember when he actually goes into exactly what you were explaining, like
yes.
the behind the scenes of all the rides and the toys, and they had all these places where staff would be able to go in and out and change clothes and all this stuff.
Yes.
It just reminded me of that.
For sure. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It's kind of like creepy. But whenever I was younger, I was like, this is like whack, dude. I don't like seeing Mickey Mouse in a fluorescent lighting walking down a hallway.
With a stain.
Yeah. What is this? Yeah. And then I knew a girl who was a Disney princess for a little while, and someone I went to like high school with. And she came back with stories of like, yeah, you see like Goofy hooking up with
Daffy and shit.
Yeah. You're like, what is going on? Yeah. Because it's just a workplace. Like you forget that like not everyone's upholding the Disney values that you think they are.
Although I will say, as a person that's been to Disneyland enough times, everybody's kind of weird that works there.
Well, yeah.
They're a little quirky.
Yeah, there's no...
Not in a bad way.
No.
It's just different folks.
Yeah, I love quirky people,
Yeah.
Yeah. I consider myself kind of quirky, but, I mean, I listen to the pirates who don't know anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I like going to Disneyland.
Yeah.
But if I had to work there, I would literally hang myself from one of the rides.
Yeah.
I would just I couldn't.
I would be in It's a Small World after all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In front of Germany and shit.
Yeah. That'd be ridiculous. Yeah, I would traumatize a
couldn't do
full
it.
group of people. Yeah.
Because can you imagine the sheer amount of shitty teenagers you have to deal with in a single afternoon?
Yeah.
Just asshole after asshole, just stupid comments. Probably after the third one, I'd have to be arrested for abuse.
Right. Yeah.
One of them just gets thrown into.
I'm gonna talk shit.
Oh no! Not just like throw him into one of the rides and be like, oh, you fell into Splash Mountain. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Timmy.
Yeah. Oh, did he drown in the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens,
Better luck next time, Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I could just imagine the sheer amount of shitty people
that you deal with.
Wait,
Yeah.
the other thing is like it's hot and you're under the sun for like 3.5 hours to get on a 14-second ride because it's your kid's birthday
and people
or whatever.
are so entitled to like their kid having a magical time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing is like a lot of these people save for many years just to afford.
Yeah.
You're spoiled if you lived in California because it's like a 45-minute drive.
It's no big deal.
Right.
Yeah.
But some people have to plan out a vacation around being in Anaheim where there's like literally nothing to do other than Disneyland. So you're there.
I read an article that was like, if you want to have a good time at Disney World, prepare to spend $10,000. I was like, I think I can have a good time without spending $10,000.
Well, you're almost
Yeah.
like what, $400 or $500 deep if like 5 people are going.
Yeah.
Tickets are like what,
right.
90, $100 at this point. I don't know how much
they're
but
more. Yeah, yeah.
they're expensive. So
Yeah.
like just the ticket to get in,
For 2 people, it was like nearly $400.
cool. So like
Yeah.
for a normal family of 4, let's say, you're already $800 into it.
Yeah.
Anything they touch is another $200.
Right.
Doesn't matter if it's like it could be a pen with Mickey's face on it, $200.
Right. Yeah. 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 God
Again.
forbid you eat at the park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Although like their food is for some reason the best indulgent food that you want to have when you're there, because they have like some of the best shit, like the ice cream,
Yeah.
the frozen bananas, and
Yes.
the funnel cake.
Yeah, the Mickey face.
Yes.
Yeah, funnel cake's so good. I had a Monte Cristo for the first time at Disney World.
What is that?
It is
The cigar?
No, it's a club sandwich that's breaded and deep fried, covered in powdered sugar,
Oh my god.
and you dip it in like this jam. And I was like, "This is great." And I went with a girl, and she was like, I'm gonna have the shrimp linguine, like trying to be healthy. And I was like, not me. And she was like, and she like tried to bite, and she's like, I got the wrong thing. I was like, yeah, we're not, we're gonna walk 10 miles today. There's no need to care.
When I'm at Disneyland, I want diabetes or a heart attack to compete to see who wins.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
I want
Yeah,
both things to be spiked at the same time.
for sure. Yeah.
And then I want to go on a ride that's going to just scare the shit out of me.
Yeah. 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 I want to go on the Tower of Terror immediately after a meal.
You know what?
Yeah.
I always do that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
yeah,
the Tower
yeah,
of Terror is situated by that French Quarter.
Yes.
And they
yeah,
have
yeah,
all the
yeah,
best
yeah.
food in the French Quarter. So you
Yes.
buy something because you're like, that line's going to be forever anyways.
Yeah.
And you're just like munching away. And by the time you get there and you get into that fake elevator that's pretending like it's going down and shit,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, fuck, this is a bad idea.
Yeah. Well, oh no. Yeah.
You're like, all right,
yeah.
let's do this.
Yeah. How do you feel about all the rebrand? Like, it's not the Tower of Terror anymore. It's like the Guardians of the Galaxy something or another.
Are they rebranding all that?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why are you taking away what was actually fun and cool?
The classic. Yeah.
Because I remember when I would go, or let's say Halloween time, Tower of Terror would become Jack Skellington. And it was all taken over by that, Midnight Before Christmas. And it's like the whole thing was themed out that way. And then they would do
Yeah.
the same thing around Christmas. Skellington would come out with like the Christmas costumes and his girlfriend and the whole
Yes.
I was like, that's fun.
Yeah.
I
But
don't-
what is
What Star-Lord's going to be wearing?
going to be?
No.
He's not scary at all. Yeah.
The Guardians is cool. Nothing, I love the Guardian Galaxy franchise. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It was refreshing in the middle of a lot of stagnation in Marvel, in my opinion.
Agreed. Yeah.
But don't take away what we love.
Yeah.
Everybody loves it. What else are they rebranding?
I know it's like a lot of things have gone Marvel, but I do think they're keeping it in terms of like LA, the LA park, they're keeping that in California Adventure, the Marvel side of things.
Are they?
But
Okay.
yeah,
I haven't actually been to California Adventure.
I've gone one time and it was in like the 6th grade. So,
I was too old when it opened,
right.
and then with my kids so far, it's only been the one trip to
It's not
Disneyland,
quite,
and you
yeah.
always start with Disneyland because you're like, it's not that far away. We'll always go again.
Yeah, and it's Disneyland is more magical than California. California Adventure is like thrill rides. It's like Six Flags.
Which
kinda.
I've been told it's a bunch of like Cars Adventure and
Yeah.
a bunch of like the kids oriented stuff and fun rides for them and all this cool stuff.
Yeah, but more height requirements for sure.
Right.
Over at California
Like
Adventure.
between 11 and 13-year-old kids, something in that
Yes.
range.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
when
yeah.
it opened, I was already like 17, 18. So I
Right.
was like,
Just not.
I'll just go to Disneyland.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it's like you're taking a girl to Disneyland. And it's a completely different
It's a
dynamic.
different. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You're like,
for
it's
sure.
a small world can grow large very quickly.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
That was the whole point, you know what
yeah,
I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I want to have a magical time with this woman, not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
It's like, oh, cool. It's a beautiful little boat ride and all
Yeah.
these little singing dolls and, whatever.
Yeah. The Star Wars land is nuts. It's so cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
But I mean, I remember it before it was like Star Wars Land, when it was just Space Mountain was the
Right,
main
yeah.
attraction there.
Yeah.
Because they didn't, you have to remember, Star Wars was not a Disney company for a very long time.
Right.
Until
yeah.
Lucas sold it off to them, and they just started like making movie after movie after movie.
Yeah.
And then they rebranded just like. But Space Mountain was the shit when you were a kid, dude. That was the scariest ride you can go on at Disneyland because it was dark and it was fucking awesome.
Is that the one that has the Yeti?
No.
No.
That one, the Yeti is, well, you're right. That's Splash Mountain.
Right. Yeah.
Space Mountain was like this big ass dome.
Yes.
Where the Star Wars
yes.
universe exists now.
Yeah. And it's a Star Wars ride now. Like you're in a TIE fighter. And
before it wasn't. It was like these chromed out robot dudes, not the troopers, stormtroopers.
Yeah.
So they're all stormtroopers and stuff now.
Yeah.
But before it was like these almost reminiscent of like Terminator kind of style.
Yes.
Like laser shooting. And it was really cool when you were a kid. It was its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's Star Wars.
Yeah. Now they're just like.
The ride's the exact same. Nothing has changed. I mean, you still go through the dark space and it's like air is being shot at you. And now you remembering it?
Yes. Yeah.
That's a fun ride.
Right. It's a roller coaster.
But like you guys changed nothing by rebranding it Star Wars.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. Other than now you think of Star Wars when you write it.
And then you kind of leave it going like, what part of the Star Wars franchise was I in at this moment? I don't understand.
Yeah. Which era of Star Wars? Yeah.
What Star Wars adjacent?
Yeah.
Is this like a Boba Fett thing or what happened?
Yeah. They're like, you like Star Wars? Does that nostalgia your brain? Did you ever watch South Park?
No.
Dang, yeah. The member berries.
Unfortunately, I can't do South Park.
Right.
Because the animation is so shitty.
Right. Yeah.
And for me, like, visual is an important thing.
For sure.
Like, I like Futurama. I like Rick and Morty. I like all sorts of Japanese anime. And
but the
paper
cutout wasn't for you. Yeah.
No, I can't do it.
It took me a while to like come around because I'm in a similar boat. Like I really want to watch early Simpsons, but I struggle because because it's so bad. Yeah.
Because there's no depth to the colors.
Yeah.
There's no it's a 2D cartoon, but there's shadowing and depth in the current Simpsons lineup where you have a better kind of like connection, I guess, with Homer, even though he's got 4 fingers and he's yellow.
Right.
But the old ones are just like, and you're like, oh yeah, if you remember the old TVs, nobody had HD anything, so it didn't matter because it was like bunny ears.
Yes. Yeah. There's like a whole movement of people who are trying to bring back the was it CTVs?
Oh yeah.
For like specifically skate videos.
Yeah, like CRT TVs.
Yeah.
Why for skate videos?
Because they were shot on those like fisheye lenses.
Okay, and so they look better
They look better on those like curved screens. Yeah.
Well, I know there's this whole CRT movement with retro gamers.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, kids that are into the Ataris and the old Game Boys and like these, and they'll go through like great lengths because they'll get like a Japanese version of a game console.
Wow.
Because it would have games that never got released here, be able to play on it. So then they go hunting for like a Japanese CRT or some sort of a converter because I don't think anybody cares, but there used to be these standards. It was PAL, NTSC, and then there was a couple of other standards. Whatever standard it was coded in it was only compatible with devices that were also coded that way. And it was for copywriting and just like shit like that. So like a Japanese game wouldn't work in the United States because we were PAL and they were NTSC or vice versa.
Right. That's crazy.
Yeah. None of that shit matters because now you have the internet and you digitally download anyway. So
what is it? A module or something? Yeah.
It's always an emulator or a ROM. So who cares?
Yeah.
But the purists who want to actually like own the device and shit will hunt down these things. So like old tube TVs have become stupid expensive nowadays because of this movement.
There was I have like an old HD camera that I have a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema, and someone like a bunch of people were like, this is the coolest thing on TikTok, and now they're like $1,200 on eBay, and I'm like, I'm gonna sell mine and buy a new Canon.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
If you can get rid of it.
Yeah, for sure, because I don't want it. Yeah, I don't need it because it's, to me, it's outdated, but some people want that vintage look, I guess. Yeah.
That's the other thing. Like, Did you ever get into collecting cards?
Like, yeah,
Cards of any flavor?
I had a whole Yu-Gi-Oh phase at like 19 years old. So yeah,
I never got into that shit. I never understood it.
I played the game. I I was in Eastland and
So you actually played Yu-Gi-Oh?
yes,
Ah.
like I went to tournaments and
You had a mat and everything.
oh, I had a mat. I had a mat. I had sleeves.
For those of you that don't know, serious like you see, the Logan brothers with their Pokemon cards and
Yeah,
shit,
yeah,
and you
yeah.
think that's all it is. No, there's an actual community of people that play a game. Yu-Gi-Oh
Yes.
is just like another. Think of it as another universe where you have, like, let's say, Marvel, DC. You can have Yu-Gi-Oh. You can have Pokemon. You
Magic
can
the
have Magic the
Gathering, yeah.
Gathering, and so many, many, many more fringe card games that exist.
For sure. Yeah.
Anyways, so the serious players, the ones that compete, usually have like a kit that carries their rolling mat that they lay their cards on so they don't get bent and they are pristinely
Yes.
kept.
Yeah.
And they've got all this other shit. Like,
Yeah.
they're worse than competitive like poker players. They'll just come in and just take over an entire Home Depot folding table.
Yeah. Yes, they'll take over any pizzeria, dude. They'll
And
They'll
they don't
eat it
usually
up.
look like Parker. They look like they ate a couple of Parkers.
You're not wrong. Yeah. That's why I dropped out. I had a girlfriend who I was like working a pizza place job. And so like I'd make all this money on tips delivering, and then I'd immediately go buy Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And she was like, "What are you doing with your life, dude?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on here, Parker?
Yeah. I was like, what hole are you what void are you trying to fill? And I was like,
I have no idea. You might want to actually ask yourself
yeah,
that question.
Well, I sold all the cards to buy the black magic, oddly enough. Yeah.
Now it's all coming full circle.
Yes, yeah. I was like, I got to start creating content. And yeah.
Well, maybe you'll sell the black magic, buy, Pokemon cards. Start
Yeah,
doing the-
Start over. Yeah.
No, you know how people like do unboxings and shit
Yes,
online?
yeah,
And
yeah,
there's it's apparently a big deal.
Yes.
Yeah, my kids tell me about these things.
Oh, yeah.
They have actual people that they follow that are like.
That's what they do.
We met one of these guys. I think his name's Lionheart.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out Lionheart.
Yeah.
He was in Plano or Dallas. We were at a trading card store, and my kids were like, "Dude, that's that guy." And I was like, "Hey, kids are big fans. Do you mind taking a picture?" He's like, "Yeah, of course, let's do it." And took pictures with them. Like, really nice,
That's
awesome
so
guy.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. And I was like, that was nice. The kids got a good kick out of it. But like, why I knew about the entire
You
ritual,
knew about the mat and the ritual.
not from him, but like we went to another trading card store like a couple of months later, and they had the whole like tournament deal going on, and there was just like a lot of sandwiches being eaten at the same time as game decks were being just like.
See, I would never do that. I'd never cross-contaminate my sandwiches in my.
Well, I mean, these were the kind of guys that had sleeves for their sleeves, so they're the kind of guys like double condom. Fuck it. If take one off, you're still clean.
Yeah.
That's what I think their idea was like.
Yeah.
After I'm done with the Subway sandwich, we'll take it out of this sleeve and it'll be perfect and pristine.
You get that Jersey Mike's way. It's a messy sandwich, dude.
Dude, I'm telling you. And those guys are like 9 a.m. on a Saturday. They're like, we're in it to win it. This is tournament style, adult diapers. Let's do this.
Let's go. Yeah.
Like,
I'm glad, I phased out of that era of my life.
Yeah, like how David Goggins is ready for a 100-mile marathon and shit. These guys are just like 3 nights before fucking cracking their fingers like, I got this.
We got it.
I got this.
Yeah.
Just like memorizing charts and shit. All right, if he has a 14 GB, I got to do this, and I can fuck him up like this. And it's like,
he's got no idea. I've got this bespoke deck going on with all retro cards. No one knows what's coming.
The funniest if you see somebody have a mental breakdown, and you're just standing there going like, I understand you're in pain, but I don't understand why.
But also,
I can't take you serious.
Yeah. It's a card game.
Yeah.
And there's no money involved. You win free packs.
If that.
Yeah. For some people, it's all they have, I think. And I was like, I like spent too much money, like making it a really good deck, and I was at the like delivering end of those emotional breakdowns a few times. and it felt amazing. I loved it. Yeah.
Bully.
Yeah. I come in, they assume I'm a bully. 'Cause they're
You're
like,
not the jock with the heart of gold. You just like come in like, all right, let's do this, motherfucker.
Yeah, let's go.
Uncle Parker's here.
Yeah, Uncle Parker.
Want to see a magic trick? Oh, I just took your deck.
Yeah, oh no, yeah.
Poor kids, like 7-year-old kids, just crying in the corner.
He's like, oh, well, you said play for keeps.
Yeah, I know, right? So
Yeah.
we were talking about, briefly, we started talking about you and comedy, and then we ended up going down nostalgia road.
Yeah, I love a good rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to come back to comedy, you said you had actually done some homework and you had written the jokes and you did well. Now, I want to hear about that. I want to hear about your first time when you actually went up and how it went.
I don't remember the specific jokes I told.
Okay.
But I do remember him saying, you can come back next week.
Nice.
Which meant I'm in. And then my mom heard that and she was like, oh no, he's going to want to come back next week. and the rule was keep your grades up, you can keep coming back.
What was the grade point average that you needed to have?
Pass.
Okay.
I was not interested in academics, especially
C
by
and
the,
above.
Yes, especially by the time I was doing stand up. I was like, this is it for me. This is what I'm going to do. I don't care about grades. I'll pass and I'll keep doing stand up.
Okay.
They did get a little more strict senior year where they're like, be and up, keep it going. And then whenever like sports and stuff started back, I just didn't get to do it as much in senior year. But the second I graduated, I was like, I'm trying to move to Dallas to do stand up and then eventually move to LA. The plan was to move to LA 2020. Me and my roommate at the time were going to move. But as you know,
what's the plan now?
I think Austin's the place, kind of, if you got in early. I did not get in early.
Austin is the place now.
Yeah.
It's just starting.
I
it's
think
an incubator.
A bit. It's like you've got I know enough people in Austin. I think that it could go well. But also I know a lot of people in Austin who do 1-minute mics.
Don't move there.
Right, yeah.
Do what a lot of the comics that I know here do is test the waters.
Yeah, go
because a bunch of them
Yeah.
go from there. Because what you're going to have to figure out very quickly is you have a very different comedy crowd here than you do in Austin.
Yes.
You're working with a younger crowd, usually more liberal crowd.
Yeah.
A lot of expats from different states, whereas here you've got not a conservative crowd per se, but more conservative than
Fort
the
Worth
Austin
is
crowd.
super conservative.
I would say so, yeah.
Dallas
definitely.
Dallas is maybe just a bit more like snooty.
Dallas has limitations.
Yeah.
Whereas Austin in the right crowd has no limitations.
Yes.
Like you're going to be hard pressed to do a really good incest joke in Dallas. But in Austin, it'll probably fly if it's good.
Yeah.
If it's good, it'll fly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I could be wrong, but...
And then there's like these other satellite cities like Denver where you can do like 4 mics a night. You can hit like 4 places a night, or Nashville or Chicago. I think New York is the only place comparable to Austin right now.
I think Boston and Chicago still hold their own because so when you think about like when LA became a scene for comedy, Boston and Chicago had already been a scene.
Right.
New York had already been a scene. And when the New York LA kind of not a rivalry, but it was like a fun competition to see who had the better comics. Chicago and Boston didn't give a shit. They were like, we still have really good comics, and we're still going to have...
Chicago still has everyone on SNL.
And Atlanta has really good comics, too.
That's right. Yeah.
You can find a good microcosm anywhere. Like in Dallas, you can hit up 5 mics if you wanted to in a night, no problem.
Yeah.
You do DCC, Addison, Dallas, Hyenas, Backdoor, and then if you want to, just make a 45-minute drive into Fort Worth.
Yeah. I try to hit...
And you can do like many mics.
Minimum 3 a week. But I had an idea once that was like...
What was the idea?
How do I become the best comedian for me? Not necessarily through networking and trying to like play the, ladder game, but like, how do I just become really undeniable? That's what everyone says, become undeniable. And I thought it'd, do 100 sets in Denver, do 100 sets in Nashville, do 100 sets in Chicago, do 100 sets in Boston, New York, LA, Austin, and just spend like a year in each, like racking those up. And so I kind of have a goal of like getting a remote job and making that happen. But
it seems like a very interesting idea.
Yeah.
But what I was going to ask is, don't you think that kind of riding the ladder also makes you have to up your game?
That's true. Yeah.
Because you'll go from clubs to a theater, from a theater to something bigger, and then an arena. And each time out, it makes it that much more difficult. And
That's
your
fair.
work has to be that much tighter to actually matter in these big places, because you get that shot once, you do it great, and you'll be invited back, and then you'll be touring on your own.
Eventually. Yeah. The question of like building an audience for yourself, like through the internet, is like, it's hard to figure out, because I don't know that I'm the person who wants to like grind out a podcast and like release something once a week. It's very hard to find someone who you can do that with, and then it's also it's very hard to do, right?
So no is what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And I don't want to sound vain in any way, but after I did the first episode, it felt like the most natural thing I've ever done.
Wow.
I enjoyed it so much that it was like, it's like heroin almost. Like I really want to do more and more and more.
Yeah.
And it felt good because the idea and the premise of it, how it was supposed to be genuine, it started that way and has continued thus far. And I'm so happy with that.
Yes.
But that's the thing, is like, I wanted to do this. You want to be a comedian.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I think stand-up and podcasting are really good together and can be amazing.
Yeah.
But if you look at the really successful podcasts that are comedian-based, which ones are they? Well, Rogan doesn't count as a comedy podcast.
Right.
He is in a completely different genre in and of itself.
Yes.
If you look at Flagrant with Andrew Schultz.
Yeah.
It's an ensemble of people.
Right. Yeah. They're doing the Tonight Show, I think.
Yeah. And even before they got the really cool set and everything, when they were, in the original set and then the new one, and then now what they're like actually a production stage.
Yeah.
They always kind of had an ensemble of funny friends together, and they would kind of piggyback off of each other and have a lot of fun with it. And then you get Bill Burr or Tim Dillon, and they are doing solo podcasts where it's just him sitting at a mic and talking. If you don't have the passion for either, don't try to become the next Joe Rogan, because that's not the way it works.
Right.
There is a Joe Rogan. He will always remain Joe Rogan.
Yes.
And there is a very unique thing about him that makes it work. I don't know what that unique thing is, but as an interviewer, he is really, really easy to talk to. And it's shown, like 2,000 something episodes deep. The man is still as energetic and loving what he's doing. And he's able to kind of like sit here with some of the smartest people and more complex people and keep up.
Yeah, ask compelling questions that you want to know the answers to.
And, nothing against anyone, but you can look at any other comedian that has also had, let's say, certain guests on. The conversation doesn't go as far, as deep as it does with him.
Yeah, and he's also making them do 3 hours, which is not...
Again, this is why, like, it's great to have ambition and dreams to become the next, let's say, whatever your dream is.
Right.
But if that's not your dream, then don't chase it, because you're going to end up hating life. Go become a CPA.
Right. Yeah.
You'll make way more money.
You'll do so well as a CPA.
Because the likelihood as a CPA you will be making a lot of money is much, much higher than as an influencer or a comedian.
And that's why I'm doing this. Like, it's a project that's going to take a long time for me to see the end of. And I've just decided that that's what I want more than I want to like chase, like, I think if you get into podcasting because you think I'm going to build an audience and I'm going to get numbers and I'm going to do this, and every week I'm going to grow my audience. if it's external validation you're seeking, it's not going to work out. But if it's internal, it will. And so you got to figure out what that internal thing is.
Yeah, like I know exactly why I'm doing this.
Yes.
And there is a roadmap in my mind of first year, third year, fifth year, 10th year goals of what I want to do with this. Making money is not anywhere in that. It's a trajectory that will come if I do what I really want to do with this, regardless.
Right.
It's just like one of those things that's going to like bound to happen.
Yes.
But that's not the reason I started doing this.
Right.
I really, really am genuinely interested in people, and I was like, comedians are usually friendly.
Yeah.
And I like comedy, and I was like, let's see if this will work.
Yes.
So, it's very different to speak to an engineer as your first guest versus a comedian, because
right.
your audience base can be easier to obtain because they have an audience that they're going towards, and funny is a lot easier to relate to. Then something as dry as, fluid dynamics.
Yeah, which I don't know anything about. Yeah.
I don't know much about it either, and I'd be fascinated to have somebody that does tell me about it. It would be an amazing conversation to have, but not yet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because I'm not there. I wouldn't want to do the disservice to that person.
For sure. My favorite podcast for the longest time was Pete Holmes. And I
haven't listened to his podcast.
It's good. They just talk about like relationships, comedy, and God. And like, what are your opinions on all of them? And he is very non-judgmental and wants to know.
Okay.
And it's great. Yeah.
That's a good podcast.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I've started to kind of, and I won't say the names of the podcasts I no longer listen to, but I've unsubscribed from a bunch of them at this point.
Me too.
And it's because I went to podcasts because I was trying to avoid people trying to shove their ideology down my throat. Don't care what side of the fence you're on. I don't care what your issue is. I thought I was avoiding that with the ones that I was listening to, but they've all kind of evolved into having this narrative that I no longer like.
Right. I agree.
And then there's certain ones that I still love and will continue to listen to. Andrew Huberman is one of them.
Right. Yeah.
Lex Friedman is another one.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I still enjoy Jordan Peterson's work.
Yes.
But I know that I'm going to somebody that has an ideology. I'm specifically going there because that person's entire basis is that.
Is what
you understand?
He's not tricking you into thinking anything. Yeah.
It's like if you were going to, I don't know, like the Daily Wire and listening to Ben Shapiro and getting pissed off that he's not comedic all the time, then you're the idiot, not him. Because he is not, even though he can be funny, and
that's
satirical
at
times, that's not him. Yeah. He's a serious person. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, he went to Harvard Law, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like he's a very serious person that is very passionate about his ideas and his opinions, and he likes to back them up with mostly facts that he can. You go there for journalism. You don't go there for comedy.
Right. Yeah.
But when I go to comedy, I don't want to go for journalism.
100% true. Yes. And I think there's a big a wave of comedians who kind of like want to have a serious opinion but also want to be funny. And I am not one of them. I've decided I just want to be funny. And so
what I would say is you can have a serious opinion because everybody is allowed to have their opinion.
Right.
And you can voice said opinion.
Yeah.
But you don't do it every episode, and you don't make it an intrinsic part of what your podcast is going forward.
And you're not entitled to anyone taking you seriously.
No.
Especially when you are, branding yourself as a silly person.
Look, I'm not a comedian, but I'm a moron, bro. Don't take anything I say as like the gospel or truth.
I'm a comedian and I'm a genius.
There you go. See?
Yeah.
Those are your pronouns. Genius.
Yeah. Genius comedian. Yeah.
There's no denying it. No, but like I say that because if you were going to take what we talk about as a blanket fact, even though it may be, mostly we're not here trying to lie. Yeah. But we could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm speaking my truth.
Yeah. I think 40-Year-Old Virgin is a Judd Apatow film. I could be completely wrong, offending a better director or a different director.
Yeah, I don't have a Jamie to back it up. Yeah.
Nor will I ever have one.
Yeah.
That is not
what you're doing. Yeah.
No, because that's the other thing that differentiates Joe Rogan is a lot of his guests now have a narrative that they want to talk about, and he understands that, like, hey, something's going on that we got to kind of like, you know, hey, your new book or the movie you just directed or Chimp Empire, and you're the director of that. Like, there's, yes, the conversation goes everywhere, just like all the other podcasts do, but there's a narrative involved in it too.
And some people are really trying to push their narrative. And
you have to love him for that reason of he's always kind of trying to be in the middle
diplomatic.
Of everything. He's like, really? Like, maybe not everybody believes that the Big Bang happened. Let's just say, let's just say. Yeah. Like, really?
Yeah.
And that's okay. You know, that's the way it should be. That's like an unbiased thing. Is like, I can't take your side or anyone's side because there's no proof.
Right.
It's conjecture. So for that reason, I don't need nor would I ever want to have a Jamie.
Right. It's fact checking. Yeah.
Yeah. This is not that show. This is a different thing. This is just a conversation, and I don't know anything about you, and that's the fun part about it, because like I get to learn when they get to learn.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
for sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Plus, I'd need to have some sort of a big ass TV set up somewhere.
Right.
Because I hate the podcasts where they just have like a pop up of shit come up.
Yeah.
And you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What is this bullshit? You can't put a TV in the frame? Like, come on, $40 at Walmart.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I'm like super pro podcast. And
well, they're the best form of information consumption because why I specifically named Lex Friedman and Andrew Huberman.
Yeah.
They're not comedy, they're not journalists, they're serious scientists that have a great following and make very complex subjects digestible. Like when
for sure
Lex was talking to Sam Altman about OpenAI, it was a fascinating conversation.
Right.
And it was easy to follow and understand what they were talking about because I think Lex kind of knows how to direct a little bit, where it's like, and that means actually this, where you're like, okay, now I understand.
He can put it in layman's terms.
Yeah, because if you get two computer scientists in a room together,
they're talking way over my head.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Yeah. Neural networks, and they go deeper into what code is used, and you're just like, oh, this was really lovely. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah.
Can I
Thanks
leave
for coming
now?
on.
It's like, I don't know. That's the whole point. Is like, and that's why I like Lex, and I like Huberman because he takes like the health science and mind, body, and the whole thing, and makes it really easy to digest and understand like how you can be healthier and happier, and like all the things that neurobiology is teaching us. And it's crazy. It's like, it's fun to listen to and get knowledge.
I leave my blinds open in the morning so the sun hits me when I wake up, and it's immediately in my eyes.
You're a Huberman.
Yeah. Oh, there's like memes of like women dating married to a Huberman husband, and they're like, we got to take this, we got to take all these supplements, and then we got to not have our caffeine for the first hour and a half of the day. And I'm like,
I did that, and unfortunately, I didn't last the hour and a half in the morning. Like, I did it for a month, and I completely agree with him.
Yeah.
I just counteract it with just having more coffee in the afternoon.
Right, yeah,
but
exactly.
I just really like the taste of black coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
No cream, nothing, just a cup of black coffee.
I'm a Red Bull guy, and everyone's like, that's so bad for you. And I'm like, but there's B vitamins. It has the B complex.
Not the B you need.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Like, it's vitamins. You're like, how much of that were you supposed to ingest? And why is it 4 million % the daily value?
Why is your pee bright yellow?
Yeah. And I can't explain why the taste of Red Bull is good. It tastes like, if you broke it down, it's almost like some sort of a weird medicine with not enough sweetener. But everybody loves that shit.
Yeah. And then they have the flavors. I don't know if you've gone.
I've had the tangerine.
Oh, they're so good. It's
the
a problem
watermelon.
For me. Yeah,
right?
Yes.
I think the tangerine was my favorite.
The summer edition June berry.
I've never had that one.
Oh, it's worth the trip to 7-Eleven. Let me tell you.
Or a Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
Buc-ee's could be your actual vacation. Like, it could be the destination.
It's 100% most people from Eastland's vacation.
Like, honey, get the kids. We're going to Buc-ee's.
We're gonna go on our summer vacation, 2 hours up the road to Buc-ee's.
We'll be
Yeah.
back in June.
They left in January.
Yeah.
because they only use horses and wagons in Eastland. It's yeah.
Somebody feed grandma.
That's the name of the horse.
Yeah, there you go. Grandma.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Nice.
See, like
yeah.
funny series, like shit you can come up with. Like you can come up with like an Eastland series.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna ask you, if you do think of a podcast idea, I know what you could possibly incorporate into your 100 comedy show
Okay.
to kind of have a podcast go with it.
Yeah.
I would do a podcast after every show with the comedians I'm there with.
I thought that would be a great idea.
And
yeah.
I would fuck with the podcast theme
Yeah.
by making it short, like 15 to 30 minutes,
Yes.
no longer than that.
Yeah.
Just kind of like a recap
Yeah.
of like how it went, how like just be honest, like hey,
Yeah.
it was shitty. Why was it shitty? And how like kind of like a behind the scenes.
Yes. Yeah.
And then it would kind of be like a montage of these cities that you would be doing 100 shows in each, and it would be so different
Yeah.
because it's
And each
100
one,
different
yeah.
shows. You know, it's a cool like it's almost like a podcast documentary.
I definitely thought that'd be cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Yes.
You wouldn't need much. A couple of iPhones, like the way Ari Shafir does his.
Yes.
He just literally brings out old iPhones and a couple of like those wireless Rode lavalier mics,
Yes.
and you're done.
They're awesome. Yeah.
You could definitely have that in a kit.
Super easy. Yeah.
It'd be fun.
Yeah. I really like I've had a few podcast ideas, but I haven't committed to any of them. One was like the new podcast where I start a new podcast every episode and have a new guest or a new host, new, not guest, but like a new co-host and a new topic and a new title. And it'd be terrible for marketing, but
It'd be awesome.
It'd be very funny. Yeah. And then also
That would be fucking hilarious.
yeah. And then like, you'd have to find them. You'd have to figure out where they are on the internet. And then
Oh, you mean literally a brand new one every single like you'd register a whole new podcast series.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be hilarious?
No.
I think
don't
it'd
do
be
that.
hilarious.
No,
It'd be a lot
don't
of
do
work.
that.
But then I would have like a website that hosted all of them. And
Yeah, YouTube.
Yeah,
Would
or
do that
YouTube.
for you.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
For free.
yeah,
No problem. Anytime. Like
yeah.
YouTube's
I like to
"Feed me."
complicate things for no reason.
Yeah, because you don't want to do any of that because once you get a little too much traffic, then you're gonna have to be paying for your servers.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
a lot more expensive. YouTube is free, bro.
Yeah,
and they'll pay
the
you.
new podcast. And
They'll
then
actually pay you for that shit
Yeah.
too. They'll be like, here, ads, money, take
Here's
it.
a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that
And
one.
people make
or
a lot
the,
of bit on YouTube. Some people make
dude.
a lot of money on YouTube.
Yeah, I was like making sketches in like 2012, and I made like 50. I made like pretty much a sketch a week for a year, and it never blew up anywhere, and I wrote it off as a failure, and I was like, that's not a failure because I learned a lot, and yada yada yada.
You had to be hyper focused, man.
Yeah.
It had to be passion. Again, it has to be
Yes.
something you want to do. That's the thing
Yeah.
people don't understand. Like, you can become TikTok famous, very, very different from being YouTube
Oh yeah,
content creator
yes,
famous because that is a trickier market.
for sure. I think TikTok kind of inflates people's fame to get them to post more.
It's not real fame, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah,
YouTube I could consider real fame because there's a lot of production value that goes into some of these YouTube videos. Like there's a lot of time, work, effort into making them really high quality videos.
Yeah. And if your followers can translate to people selling tickets, it's like if you've got 1 million followers on TikTok, but you can't sell out anywhere, then you're not doing it. You got a lot of bots following you. Yeah.
That's the other thing nowadays, which I kind of like this whole premise of shooting a special and throwing it on YouTube.
I love it. Yeah.
And who was it that said like compared to if you went through an Amazon or a Netflix, like the sheer numbers that you can get on YouTube is just staggeringly larger than those streaming platforms. And most people see this in ticket sales.
Yes. Yeah.
They're like, there's such a huge increase.
For sure. Yeah. It's like Netflix used to be the bump in sales, but now it's YouTube. If you can self-produce a special and put it on YouTube, you will see a significant increase. I guess I don't know that personally, but
I think it just matters on. I think look, if you don't have a big following already,
right.
throwing a video on YouTube isn't going to do shit. But
Yeah.
like if you're at like a 500,000 on Instagram already, then you put up a
yeah.
story and a reel about your YouTube special.
Yes.
And let's say you had a podcast and you hopped on a couple of your buddies' podcasts and
yeah.
you did some promotion, then you can get, millions of views on a YouTube video on a relatively new YouTube channel.
For sure.
Otherwise, you're not getting shit.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're screaming into a void. Like
It's the same thing as when I upload these podcasts to YouTube. Yeah, maybe 4 or 5 views, 6 views, but that's because I don't have nothing on another platform that could feed into the YouTube universe. And on the YouTube universe, you're not going to get recognized because it's just the way it is.
And then there's like the whole like thing of like committing to the process and then it paying off later, and then you having this catalog of material. That's
that
like
does happen.
Pat and Oswalt talked about, like most comedians don't hit until they've like produced their 4th thing, like they've done
rare.
an album, they've done a personal special, or they've done a Comedy Central something. This was a few years ago, but
more than a decade at this point.
Yeah. And
Comedy Central's relevance has been like 15 years in the shitter.
Yeah, I don't think that I don't care about Comedy Central at all.
Nobody does.
Yeah. And it's like they're a YouTube channel now, and they're not even a good one.
Look, Comedy Central kicked ass because it was cable. You paid for it, so they could say shit and fuck and all the other stuff on it. And the 30-minute specials that they would do was an introduction to some like killers.
Yeah, to their
people
hours
that you would
came
never
later.
get any access to.
Yes.
So that was great. And then they just tried to become like wholesome for some reason, and I was like, no, please stop.
Yeah.
Give us the dirty comedians again.
Yeah.
What the hell?
And now just the dirty comedians are doing their own thing.
It's like MTV.
And, yeah. And they're oddly enough both owned by Viacom.
Of course they are. Of course they are.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a big choice of who's going to own everything anyways. It's like 4 companies. Whatever. Who cares?
The idea of just like making stuff that you are passionate about and then putting it out there and then moving on to the next thing or continuing to make it. That's the only thing there is, in terms of creating content.
So that's the project. That's the plan, I guess. It's just
Yep.
being passionate about what you do, creating your content.
And then moving on, putting it out, and then not, like not thinking it's going to change your life, because if it doesn't, you'll want to kill yourself. And if it does, then now you're beholden to upholding this thing that you've kind of put yourself in a corner doing. And so it's just make the thing, move on, make the thing, move on. And I completely stole that from Rick Rubin and his book, The Creative Circle. But
I don't know if I completely agree with that, though. Because I think that once you are on the other side, retelling your story, certain things may change in the way that you want your story told.
Right.
And I think that in some ways, everybody does want what they create to have some sort of effect on their life.
Of course.
And if that's not a goal that you have, then you shouldn't be doing it. Like, this is not being done for monetary gains, but it is done for keeping my sanity, having a hobby, something I enjoy doing, something I look forward to outside of my family.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
Those reasons alone are changing my life, and they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. I don't expect more of it. So, like, I do it and I move on in the sense that I got the fulfillment I wanted out of it. Anything on top of that may come is the stuff that I don't care about or don't put too much time or effort into it, because I'm like, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. If not, then I've got, at the end of it, like, this catalog of conversations that nobody else has.
Yeah. At the end of the day, this is just what you do, right? You come to this every day and you set up and you record, right? I talk about it with my therapist a lot. We call it the ultimate event. It's when you say, well, once I hit 100 episodes, then that's what's going to deliver me to what we call fuck you island. And I'll be pampered and I'll be fanned with things. I'll be fed grapes. And then the reality is there is no fuck you island. You just keep doing the thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, see, when you're only ever hyper focused on one thing
Yeah.
and you haven't failed miserably in other areas
Yes.
over and over and
Yeah.
over again, that lesson, what you're talking about, I learned that a long time ago because I just kept failing in other shit until I finally figured out that I can find little increments of success
Yes.
and cling on to those little increments. So this is why I don't worry about like if this is going to be successful or not.
Right.
Because I'm like, I already got a bunch of other things that I got to figure out anyways. This is meant to be the relief from all of that.
Right.
The ultimate dream, yeah, is like if this could be what is the only thing that I do,
Yeah.
like, yeah, that would be awesome to be able to create.
Yeah.
To create, not just the podcast, but to be able to create for the rest of my life
Yeah.
and the things that I want to do, explore the inventions that I have in my head and the ideas that I want to do. Yeah, that would be the ultimate dream.
Yeah.
And I will hold on to that dream because at some point I have to recognize that I'm kind of also living it.
You figured this out. And it's like, I'm still kind of learning, like, I can be content just doing, not hoping for this big wave of success or something to change my life, right?
I figured out this, doesn't matter what you do in life.
Yeah.
It doesn't come easy.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
that's just the simple fact of it. Now, certain things come so much goddamn harder
Right.
because the selection pool within to succeed in that area is so difficult.
True.
You can go to school, become an attorney, and you don't have to be the Johnny Cochrans of the world, but you can still be very successful and be healthy and happy and make money and all the other things that come with it.
Right.
Nobody will ever know your name, but you'll still have success in most standards. You're
Yeah.
graduated, blah blah blah, the whole
Own a
deal.
house. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yada,
whole
yada, yada.
the
Yeah.
nuclear family. You can have
Yes.
all of that shit.
Yeah.
But it's not going to come easy because that is that person's struggle.
Right.
And I think when you recognize that no matter what you do, no matter who you are, for you, your struggle is going to be your struggle, mine's going to be mine,
Right.
that levels us all.
Right.
And yes, the arts are always going to be the more difficult realm to try to break into because it is so highly selective. Because
Yeah.
there is no blueprint for how to do it correctly.
You just got to do it. And that's why, like, kind of, yeah, I think, of course, everyone kind of does this with the hope of success, of like other people seeing it and like
If you don't,
that
then don't
external
do it.
validation.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you can get to a place where you're doing it for you and not for that hope of, becoming famous or whatever, then you'll start to create things that are more authentically you, and that's what will, lead you to that success.
I think
right?
if you look at the career of anyone in the arts that has a long and healthy career,
Yeah.
they are the people that you just talked about.
Yes.
They weren't trying to get famous for the
Yeah.
sake of being famous. That was just something that was going to come possibly. They just wanted to pursue their art. Whatever their expression
Right.
was, they're a poet, they're a writer, they're an actor, they're
Yeah.
a comedian, whatever it is. They want to explore that genre of art.
Yes.
And the thing is, I think just like every artist, your art isn't art until somebody else recognizes it as art.
True. Yeah.
Until you get that first laugh, you're not a comedian.
Right. Yeah.
It's simple, right? Like,
Yeah.
until your painting is hang at a gallery for sale, you're not a painter.
Yeah. Well, I
It
don't know
doesn't
that
have
I
to-
agree with that.
doesn't
I
have to
think if
sell.
you paint, you're a painter.
But
but
is
yeah.
is your painting art?
What is art other than self-expression?
No.
Yeah.
I have a different opinion of art.
Yeah.
I say, whatever you create isn't art until someone else recognizes it as art. That's what art is. Someone else has to recognize that it is something created.
I think, yeah, I think art is just a pursuit in self-expression. I don't know that it has to be commodified by another individual for you to count yourself as an artist.
Interesting.
But yeah, that's also the beauty of art, is that it's different to everyone.
And that's also the beauty of having different opinions and
Yes.
perspectives.
Yeah.
You can learn from someone and kind of reevaluate something that you thought of. Because I come from it from a very different perspective, not an artist.
Yeah. It's different. Yeah.
I'm it's like mansplaining
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah.
I'm not an artist, dude. Like, so
Yeah.
I can have that opinion of it, and it could be completely wrong because an artist can be like, but hold on,
Yeah.
I'm just doing my own expression. I don't care if anybody says it is or it isn't. For me, it is.
Yeah. To be honest, neither do I. But that's, yeah. I'm trying to figure it out.
I genuinely don't even understand art.
There's a whole era of people who painted squares and made millions of dollars. So
The postmodern art.
yeah. So it's like a guy duct taped a banana to a wall, and people were like,
Banksy.
yeah,
right?
yeah. I don't think that was Banksy. I don't
That
know.
wasn't Banksy?
Yeah, I don't know who did that, but yeah,
Okay.
Banksy did the thing where he like shredded the thing. And
Yes, he did. Yeah.
It like made it exponentially more expensive, and it's like you're still playing into the like thing you're commenting on. But
If I'm gonna look at like cool art that I love, that's kind of relevant to my generation, graffiti art. I think it is some of the most complex and beautiful works because it is all non-existent.
yeah,
It is someone is imagining these letters in these new ways, and some of it just becomes these gorgeous murals too.
Yes.
And you're using spray paint as your medium, and
yeah,
that's cool because it's new art.
yeah. Street art's my favorite. If
It's
you
awesome.
visit my apartment, the only thing hanging up is Shepherd Fairy prints. So yeah,
I like art. I just, like I said,
Yeah.
I don't fully understand it,
yeah.
which I think that's the best part
That's-
about art.
Right, yeah. Is that it can be anything. I'm a big Shia LaBeouf fan, and he said anything that makes you feel something is art.
Huh? That's an interesting
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah,
I like Shia.
I do
I feel
too.
really bad for him. He just seems like a really deeply tormented and misunderstood person.
yeah.
But under it, I don't feel like there's a bad guy there. There's just
No.
he seems like a decent human being. Just
Yeah,
shitty ass circumstances.
yeah, and a brilliant actor. You
Like
know,
he
and,
wasn't
yeah,
supposed to make it, and somehow he did.
Yeah,
You know how like I don't know.
he's the movie Fury. He's like brilliant in. Yeah, he's
He's a really good actor.
yeah.
No, he's a very good
so
actor.
good. Yeah,
And he's
But-
very complex, and he's multifaceted, and he can do action shit, and he can do dramas and
Yeah.
comedies, and he's good.
yes. And yeah, I think he also like approaches it as like I'm just creating to create.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make you feel anything. I'm just other than what it makes you feel.
Take it as it is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not trying to shove it down your throat as to what this is supposed to be.
Yeah.
You can take from it what you will.
Yes, my favorite part about the creative act is that he says, don't spend too much time figuring out your viewpoint or your essence, because through going through the process and doing it and ending up with a finished thing, that's going to be baked in. Like your viewpoint, your perspective on life, when you write a novel, that's not easy to do. It's going to take a long time, and you're going to have to try it over and over and over again until you figure it out. And then when you finished, that is going to have that piece of you in it,
Yeah. There's some part. All art has a piece of the artist in it.
Yes.
It's a known thing.
So when people ask me, so what is your like perspective on comedy? What are you doing? And I'm like, I am trying to write jokes. That's what I'm doing. And if they turn out to have a certain spin or a certain perspective on them, that's what happened. It is not I'm not thinking, oh, I'm a liberal comedian and therefore I need to come up with this to appeal to a liberal audience, and or I'm a conservative comedian, I need to appeal to a conservative audience. I don't care. I'm just trying to make what I think is funny.
I thought comedians were just supposed to appeal to the truth.
Right. Yeah.
I
Their truth. Yeah.
I swear I don't think I've ever, up until the last few years, ever put any thought into the political standing of a comedian.
Yeah.
I never cared.
But it
I still
exists.
don't, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. I don't care what your political ideation is.
Yeah.
If you're funny, we're good.
Right.
We're going to get along just fine.
Yes.
But why can't we just go back to that?
I think
Do you have to be?
the people who do that are rising to the top, right? I think the Shane Gillises of the world and the people who do kind of go funny first are going to rise to the top, and the people who don't are going to have their own little faction of people, their own little bubble that they're echo chambers. But
but like they're never going to go far.
Yeah.
Because like Shane Gillis, as you mentioned, or Mark Norman, or Sam Morril, like, the new faces of comedy that are killing it.
Yes.
Mateo Lane.
Yeah.
Fucking hilarious, dude.
They're all hilarious.
I love that guy. Like, they're all in this group of really fucking funny people.
Yeah.
Stavros, really funny.
Yeah.
And the list goes on and on. But you keep talking about these people over and over again, and you don't talk about the other ones because the other ones never really kind of hit your radar because they're only hitting up like the solid core group of people that only care about, that kind of funny. And that's not funny. That's just...
There are comedians still like doing really well, like doing Trump jokes. And it's like, what? Like, what are you talking? Or like, they're appealing to a certain demographic and they're trying to reverse engineer how to appeal to that demographic. And it's like, I got no interest in doing that.
I have the same kind of feeling about pandemic jokes at this point.
Sure. Yeah.
Or COVID jokes or booster jokes. Or I'm like, please stop.
Yeah.
2023 is halfway done. Like, it's fucking leave it out. Like, you should have done this shit a year ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
And then filmed it and put it out.
Yeah.
But now it's,
You can't be doing this stuff right. And then, especially if you're doing it in Texas.
Yeah.
Texas stopped the pandemic, like...
There was no pandemic
April of 2020. It was over. They were like, what?
Yeah.
We'll kill the pandemic. We'll just shoot the pandemic. They're like, we can shoot the pandemic. It's over.
Yeah.
And you come here and you're trying to do like booster shot jokes, and people are just sitting there going like, "What's he talking about? What booster shot?
What?
Who announced what?"
Yeah.
Abbott said that. Hot Wheels said that. No, he didn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, They don't give a shit about this stuff.
Yeah. Then they don't come back. That's pretty much what it happens. Is like you figure out your places that you perform well in, and then that's the place you tour until you've wringed all the money you can out of it. And I don't like that.
No, neither do I. Because that's the best part about a place like Texas. You've got Houston, Austin, Dallas, San Antonio, like very different types of people all living within like a 6-hour car drive of each other.
Right.
If you like wanted to, you can kind of like turn it into a weekend. Start it on a Wednesday in San Antonio and end it on a Sunday in, let's say, Dallas or something.
Yeah.
You could hit up a bunch of clubs and you'd have to fine tune your work to make it work in all of these different types of crowds.
Yes. Yeah.
You don't have like the microcosm of your set core.
Yeah. And if you like stay in LA or stay in Nashville or stay in Dallas versus Fort Worth, I mean, the difference between Dallas and Fort Worth is crazy. Huge. Yeah. And I play better in Fort Worth than I do Dallas.
Just to kind of like perspective. 2 days ago in Fort Worth, I went to the rodeo with my kids.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen in Dallas. It happens there every weekend.
Yeah, it's
every weekend.
Every weekend
at the Fort Worth Coliseum.
Yeah, rodeo there. Yeah.
Yep.
But and in Dallas it's once a year at the the
whatever,
PBR or whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
they'll have like a massive event, like a monster truck rally has a massive event once a year in Dallas. Otherwise, it's like give us the Mavericks, give us the Cowboys, the Stars once in a while. Yeah. We have a soccer team too, right? I think
there is a soccer team in Frisco, but I don't remember what it's called.
Isn't it the Dallas FC?
Yes. Yeah.
So then we got the Dallas, pro soccer team.
I just know Jimmy Buffett comes and plays there once a year.
There you go. But like that, Dallas is kind of that kind of a spot. Yeah. You know what I mean? But Fort Worth, full on, let's go rodeo, belt buckles, 10-gallon hats, the whole deal.
Make it happen. Yeah. But and I feel like Fort Worth is much more like a blue collar than and Dallas is white collar. So
I can see that. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Yeah. Although there's a lot of overlap between the two places. There's a big downtown in the Fort Worth area,
for
high
sure.
rises and a lot of commerce.
Even their white collar people identify blue collar. It's
a good old boy in a suit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No offense to the good folks of Fort Worth.
I love them. Yeah.
I love visiting Fort Worth. I plan on coming to the rodeo again.
Yeah. Please don't shoot me when I'm there.
Yeah, like exactly. I love Fort Worth. Yeah. That's why I like Texas. It's so diverse. There's so much
Yes.
stuff
Yeah.
happening here. It's not like LA and New York are the only diverse places. Not
Right.
everywhere's diverse.
Yes. Yeah.
Especially
yeah.
Dallas, dude. Everybody's here.
Yeah. Oh, dude. I knew someone. I won't name them, but they like had moved from the Woodlands, which is Houston. It's a very affluent area of Houston.
I know that. Yeah, I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
and they moved to like Addison, and they were at the Galleria, and they were like, Dallas is very diverse. Dallas has gotten very diverse. I was like, Dallas has always been diverse. You just came from
A non-diverse,
yeah, like
very white, secular area.
yeah. You came from segregation, and this is
Self-imposed, by the way.
Yeah.
You lived in Houston. Like, you could have had all the
There's
diversity,
all the diversity you wanted.
I've been-
Yeah.
Everybody's in Houston too.
Yeah.
Big ass city, man.
You chose to stay in this little cove of only your people. It was so funny. I was like,
And
no.
unironically, you called it the Woodlands.
Yeah.
Like,
Hilarious.
that's what you wanted it to be, huh? Well,
But
I think we've had a pretty good conversation.
dude, I think
so
we
far.
nailed it.
Yeah.
I appreciate you having me on, man.
Same
Thank you
here.
so much.
My editor's gonna have some fun with it.
Yeah.
She'll cut it down.
Yeah.
So, when is the plan to begin this 100 thing? 100 nights?
I'm
I guess?
over
Is it 100 nights? Is that the goal? Or is it 100 mics?
100 sets.
100 sets.
Yeah. And
Okay.
that's kind of like a back burner idea, really. So where I'm at right now is with the series.
Okay.
I've got one episode left to write, and then I do the rewrites for like 3 months, and
Okay.
then I cast and I shoot, and then it comes out hopefully Q3 of next year.
Nice. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Okay. So
That's
you're
the
about
goal.
a year out.
Yeah. About a year out. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
so the 100 sets is on the back burner right now. You're working on your series. That's like
Yeah.
the more important thing, and then doing
And
open
then doing
mics around
stand
here.
up. Yeah. Yeah.
And are you planning on going on the road at all?
Where I can, as it works, and you can't really go on the road as an MC, but as I build up that 30 to 40 minutes and start featuring on the road, that's the goal.
So you're not there yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have like an e-press kit ready or anything to send out to clubs, and the goal is like the series will kind of launch some sort of traction to then book outside of that. But
I mean, you never know. Out of nowhere, somebody may be flowing through town, sees you, and says, "Hey, come on the road with me."
yeah, that'd be crazy. But
and,
yeah,
you could be just like Ralph Barbosa, another Dallas, well, not Dallas, but a Texas native.
he's
and-
Dallas. Yeah,
He's Dallas
Oak
native?
Cliff. Yeah.
and now he's on tour with Kreischer.
Yeah, he opened for Chappelle when he was here. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
there you go.
Yeah.
I actually saw him in a drop-in show. Like, he randomly stopped by.
Wow.
Fucking
Chappelle
hilar-
or
by Rage,
Barbosa?
Barbosa.
Yeah.
But he was hilarious.
Dude,
So
he's-
funny, dude.
It's crazy. Yeah. The different paths everyone takes,
That's the fun part, is like, you don't know how and when it's gonna happen. But
Yeah.
if it's gonna happen, if you're good, you're good.
The fact
that's
that
the
it
thing.
happened for him, I'm glad, because
Hell yeah. He's genuinely funny.
Yeah,
There's no
it's
denying
next
the
level.
genius
Yeah,
of his.
yeah.
Like,
And
how does that mind work? It's
Yeah,
hilarious.
he writes so much more than everyone else. It's crazy.
Does he?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Even I fall prey to like doing the same material for too long and not make
Retiring it and
Like
picking
just-
something else up.
Yeah, because it's like you get comfortable and then you want to kill and all this yada yada yada. But
So you're just kind of like at the tip of the iceberg of what you're gonna do in the next 365.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
All right. Well.
Yeah.
We'll do a second one,
Let's do it. Yeah.
and we'll try to time it right around when your series comes out,
Let's do it. Yes.
so we can
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about it.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
So give people a heads up on where to find you on socials.
Yeah, you can find me at on pretty much Instagram is where I'm mainly at.
Alrighty.
Parker Slayyvens, Slayyvens.
Don't worry. When he gets a SAG after card, they'll make him change that shit.
Yeah.
He'll become something like Slick or something.
Yeah, Parker Slick. Yeah,
Parker
yeah,
Slick.
yeah.
check me out on IG.
Yeah.
But yeah, check out Parker on IG. Really funny comic in and around the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Thank you so much.
You know,
yeah.
I'm very happy you came on. This
Dude,
was an awesome conversation.
This is great. Yeah.
And I can't wait to see your series in a year, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you've got me hyped up about it.
I appreciate it. Yeah, nice.
can't wait.
We went from Pogs to Yu-Gi-Oh to
We went everywhere.
very,
dude.
you know, esoteric art conversation. I love it. Yeah.
That's the beauty of podcasting. You know,
Certainly,
Like,
yeah.
If you let it go, it's just gonna flow.
It's gonna happen.
It's more
yeah,
fun that way.
for sure.
Parker, thank you again. I appreciate it, sir. Bye bye.